Yes, sir. So, I just want to say, my father called me a couple hours ago from the store, and he said to me, so he goes, "Can I ask you a question? What separates your ideology from Charlie Kirk ideology?" I said, "Absolutely nothing," which is what you're, no, I'm kidding. I said, "Absolutely nothing separates us, but except for the fact that he believed a certain Jewish guy was the Messiah, and I don't." So the implication of his question was, okay, so why am I not able to, obtain the reach that Charlie Kirk has attained? And I said, I'll tell you why. Uh, I'm not going to get into the fact that I'm shadow banned, but why am I not able to do what Charlie Kirk did? Because I don't have the patience of a saint. Charlie Kirk sat for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, which amounts to, if you combine all the hours, amounts to days. And if you combine all the days, it amounts to years. And listened, not only listened, like tried to meet some of the dumbest people on God's green earth, you know, where they're at, and grabbed them by the hand, little hand, like a small child, as we say, and slowly, like with the, I don't know, like surgical precision, in carefulness of, you're handling like a piece of glass that you're gonna break, to where he's at, right? With a smile, I guess. Sometimes with a, he was digging at them, but he could take it. He dished out, he could take it. And I don't know how he had the patience for all of this. Dude, you and I spoke about this on the phone. Wayne Brady gonna have to smack a, you know what?
Well,
You know what I'm saying? Like
I'll tell you one thing.
it's astounding.
I have the patience and to talk to
I
you once a week, so I think
ha 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 ha.
I know. I don't know. I don't know why I made that awkward
Yes. I think we're
comment.
I think we're just coping. Dude, and the second thing I want to say is the demon beast of the New York Times in their obituary wrote,
I just based on
yeah,
your
yeah,
posting, I
yeah,
now posted
yeah.
my posting.
I saw that. They wrote a whole
So
obituary. I mean, obituary. It was just a litany of, it's like Ron McDonald. They love to lie. And then somewhere in there, they for some reason, the guy, this twerp. I looked at his picture. I'm like, this guy's a twerp. He's like, he has the look of a twerp. He mentions like that Charlie Kirk pushed the effectiveness of hydroxychloroquine for Schmovid. It's now five. I thought in the eyes of these people, this hydroxychloroquine thing was a dead horse, a long dead horse. They're still kicking it. So either there's some kind of acknowledgement, I don't know, plausible deniability or something, or it's just telling us that they have, it's like these demons that they have to announce, they have to tell on themselves. They have to keep,
yeah,
it's a law, it's a rule, it's a law. We know that, right?
the iron law of demon self-telling.
Yes, whatever, however you want to. And no, really. And all that means is just that your brother's protocol works. If they felt the need to mention the shit in Charlie Kirk's obituary 5 years after, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I was stunned when I saw this. I'm like,
I just
what?
wrote. I just responded. Can I read it quickly?
Yeah, please do.
You were commenting on somebody named Julia Steinberg who
Yeah,
did a like a screenshot of what they
yeah,
wrote in the New York Times
yeah,
about Charlie Kirk.
yeah,
Mr. Kirk was so vocal. This is in the New York Times.
yeah.
Mr. Kirk was so vocal in his willingness to spread unsupported claims and outright lies. He said that the drug hydroxychloroquine was 100% effective in treating the virus, which it is, so they say, is not. The Twitter temporarily barred him in early March 2020, but the move only added to his notoriety and seemed to support his claim that he was being muzzled by a liberal elite. So I wrote, Charlie got this unsupported claim from my brother, Dr. Vladimir Zelenko. Charlie was a smart guy and right about many things. Charlie had the wisdom and instinct to listen to Dr. Zelenko, and so should all of you. So I just posted that
Yeah.
with with my brother's video. Um,
Dude, I'm
and
telling you, if anybody like of because I post a lot of dude, I've grown my Instagram recently and I post a lot of stuff, and obviously people who are pro-Israel don't always agree with people with us, good people, but like they just whatever for whatever reason they don't unfortunately been psyoped and they don't either or they just don't know and they don't agree with people like with us about what happened, and
yeah,
the medications and all this stuff, and I feel like this will maybe enlighten people to the truth, this situation, and the fact that Charlie, he had your brother on, and the fact that I'm not saying, we should listen to everything a person says and like, believe it or follow it, kind of like monolithically, uniformly, right?
yeah,
But if the worst newspaper on earth writes an obituary, I'm not even talking about the lying they did about Charlie himself, right? Or
yeah.
the spin, but and then feels the need to mention this treatment by this, so to speak, obscure doctor from upstate New York.
They didn't even mention the doctor. That's how
Yeah,
scared they are of my brother.
dude, it's really dude, your brother is the Rabbi Kahana of medicine. I'm telling you right now. There's a few people. It's funny because, well, now that I post, I was saying this before, I post Rabbi Kahana videos on my Instagram, and there's so many people. It's the only thing that gets traction, really. Only type of content that gets real traction is Rebbe Kahana. I posted also Rebbe and Young Rice. Okay, like few people.
Can I tell you something? Somebody
But
ripped me off today. I
okay,
just saw it happen.
okay,
So I wrote a few hours ago, and I mean this very sincerely.
yeah,
I wrote that the left killed Charlie because they truly hate open-mindedness and they hate people willing to have a dialogue. They thought by killing him, they could get rid of him.
yeah,
So let's make them realize that instead of getting rid of Charlie, they created an entire nation of Charlies.
of course.
And then who do I see ripping me off but the president himself,
Mhm.
as he was talking about Charlie Kirk.
Or-
No, I'm kind of joking, but he basically said, exactly what I said.
Listen,
And
a lot of people are saying it. I said it in
no,
this video that I
no,
posted.
no, only me.
Okay. Yeah, so dude, I post stuff with your brother, and it gets not a lot of traction, except with the people that know or kind of in the know,
Yeah,
as we say in Russian, в теме. And I don't know. This one guy tried to post that he was that Charlie Kirk was starting to devolve into like the Candace Owens territory, dude, which I did not see. If anything, he was sitting there and defending Israel constantly. So did you see anything to the effect of that Charlie Kirk was devolving into?
it wasn't devolving. It pissed me off that he invited them
Ah,
to speak. It's like inviting David Duke.
yeah,
It's like inviting like
yeah,
these ridiculous come Genghis Khan, come on
yeah,
the stage and
yeah,
and give it. I mean, I thought that was dumb. I didn't
yeah,
think Trump was right for doing that.
yeah,
I don't think he. I think people have like they had this paranoia that he was like, people were suspecting that because he was associating with them, right, that he was gonna
Yeah.
shortly reveal himself to be like
Yeah.
one of them,
Yeah.
right? Like because Candace Owens was, all about Israel at some point, and then she switched, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't like a huge leap for some people to make. That here's another guy who was, you know, pro-Israel. All of a sudden, he's, what if he flips suddenly? Like it was a. I don't think I didn't think that was the case with Charlie, but I can understand how some people, might be worried about that because
Yeah.
we've already had other cases like that.
This one guy straight up posted that it was, which I don't understand
I
why the
don't
hell
I
he
don't
did
I don't
this.
agree with that at all.
It's
No,
bizarre. Yeah. I don't know
I
why he
just
would
think that
spend all his time defending Israel with these idiots, you know?
yeah, I think Charlie, he really, just like he was speaking to all these retard university students, right, that he would talk to. I guess he had the same attitude towards these like groypers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The only thing is, like, I mean,
You mean
I'd
like
say
the you
Charlie.
have to talk to them and like kind of bring them over to
No,
your
but I'd
side, so
say
to speak?
no. I mean, I say Charlie. They're obviously paid propagandists,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, what do you expect to, like? You're speaking to prostitutes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What are you expecting to do, like, by bringing them on? You think that these are just people with opinions?
Yeah.
No, they're
They're
not. So
they're
it
operatives, yeah.
feels you kind of feel like he should have known that. Like he
Yeah.
should have,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So it's not so simple.
Yeah.
Um, he not everything he did was right or good,
Yeah.
but overall he was a good man, and he really was about open dialogue, and he really was about
Yeah.
open mindedness,
Yeah.
and he was a young man.
Dude, I always thought he was
He's just a
older than
kid.
he
He was really
was. I
really
always
just a
thought he was
kid.
older than he was. He was,
He was
even
just a
like,
kid
yeah.
and two little kids, and that's the worst part of this.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and since it's just us anyway, right? This is a very, you know, cozy little venue with two people, right? We are both the podcasters and the audience, right?
Yes.
Kidding, we have a couple more, right? Alex, hi Alex.
Literally a couple.
Yeah. Sharon and Alex, we appreciate you
Very
very much.
grateful.
Yeah. And
When the world starts to finally see us, we're gonna say, "Hey, there were these three people that, you
yeah.
know, listen to our stuff way,
And Alex, I haven't forgotten about bringing you on. I have.
Yes.
I'm not pretending like that. That I didn't say that. It's just it's too much chaos.
Yeah.
Um, but soon. So prepare yourself.
Yeah.
Um,
Speaking of chaos, I got like a butt dial from
wait,
Roseanne
wait. I know, but hold on.
two
I was
days
gonna say,
ago.
yeah. I just wanted to say that I was kind of, because of my brother, whatever. I reached out to Charlie a couple of times. Then, um, I didn't know him. I'm not pretending that we were old friends or anything like that. I think he was friendly with my brother. He was open to. He obviously respected my brother's wisdom and his insight and his information, especially medically,
Yeah.
and in many other ways. I kind of got that sense. So I reached out to him hoping that he would echo my brother's uh, information about his protocol, because that's really what I'm trying to do. That's really what I spend half my day doing, just to get my brother's information out there so people can not die. And he said he would, but he didn't. He never ended up doing it.
Yeah.
And I was really kind of mad and resentful, uh, quietly to myself. Never really understood why he couldn't do that. I wasn't asking him to promote me. There's nothing. There's no me to promote. You know what I mean? There's like
Yeah.
nothing. I'm just here to echo something that a really
Yeah.
great doctor wanted the world to know so that people wouldn't die. That's all I'm doing here. Okay. And
Yeah.
I don't know why he wouldn't. It was this mysterious thing to me. Um, it felt like it was all scripted. I really got disillusioned, and now I feel really bad about feeling
Yeah.
like that. I
Yeah.
don't know what I'm trying to accomplish by telling the story, but I guess I don't know. I guess the moral is just don't try not to have such hard feelings towards people,
Yeah.
even if you think that they wronged you in some way, or
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
or you could have done something better and they didn't, or whatever. Just
Yeah.
uh, ultimately, like people are very. I think we put too much pressure on people to make things happen.
We have too many expectations that people are going to do
Yeah, you know.
right by us, so to speak. Only because we try at least to do right by other people. And
And you know,
yeah.
yeah, and it's also like it's really, you think, oh, this didn't happen because this guy, he could have done something when he didn't do it, and that's not necessarily true.
Yeah.
And you're talking to, like, when you're thinking about another person, you're not thinking about a powerful being. You're thinking
Yeah.
about something that's so, like, literally a little breeze can take us out.
Yeah.
A little bug can land on us and we're finished.
Yeah.
One little, we have this blessing that we say, folks, that the Jews say, okay, that we say, after we use the facilities, so to speak, after we go to the
Mm-hmm.
bathroom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is, blessed to you, Lord God, King of the universe, who has fashioned man with wisdom and created within him many passageways and many hollows,
Yes.
right? Chambers,
Yep.
right? The countless, you know areas of the body with openings and closings, right? And so let's see what King was fashioned man within and created within many openings. It is obvious and known before your throne of glory,
Hmm.
this is speaking to God, that if but one of them were ruptured inside the body, or but one of them were blocked, it would be impossible to survive and to stand before you. So blessed are you, Lord, who heals all flesh and acts wondrously. That's the blessing that Jews, that we say after we use the bathroom, because that's it reminds us how vulnerable we are, how delicate, so to speak. Just to borrow a term, we all bruise like peaches, you know. So you get mad at somebody for not doing something for you. You get your hopes up, and you think that this person is the one who makes things happen. Just remember that it's only really God that makes things happen. That's the truth. And I'm not trying to sound corny, and I'm not trying to sound like I'm some religious guy. Yeah, whatever. You know what I mean, folks. Those of you who are watching me, you know,
Yeah.
um, I think it's important to cooperate with God and do everything that He said to do. But there's people who are really, they really love Him. You know, I'm not pretending to be on that level, but it is a fact that He's the one who makes things happen. Only God. And it wasn't Charlie who stopped my brother's protocol from being known by the world, which I want that to be. It's God Himself. Okay,
Yeah.
God will decide how many people live and how many people die, how many people know how to treat themselves, how many people will die in ignorance. Uh, it's horrible to say that, but it's the truth. That is the reality. My job is to try to inform as many people as possible, and but the point is that when you're dealing with people who you think have more than you, or have more power than you, have more influence, have more money, and you want them to do something and they don't end up doing it, and then you know you take it personally, and it doesn't make sense to you why they didn't help you.
Yeah.
Just remember that you don't know, we don't really know what's going on, and we don't really. and we can't put that much. We can't put so much pressure on another person to accomplish something that we're actually getting mad at them when they don't do it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have too many expectations from people because
Yeah.
people are just like me. Like God, really, there's nothing about anybody in the world that is different than you. A lot of
Yeah.
people like to think, oh, this guy has this
Yeah.
because he has these qualities and he worked hard. No.
Yeah.
Now, people end up in the positions that they end up in because God needs them there,
Yeah.
and there's mysterious things that they have to accomplish in those circumstances. Things that are subtle, things that are not necessarily going to be obvious to us,
Yeah.
right? Like God's way, like it says, God is truly mysterious. He is, that's a fact. Just telling you the truth, okay?
Yeah.
His purposes, his reasons for stuff are not obvious. They're not going to make sense to us necessarily unless he comes and explains it like complete explicitly. Like he's going to have to explain all the details, right? It's going to be
Yeah.
like, really, like that's not a. I can't believe that's what it was. I can't believe it. Like you created this whole like historical event so that this guy could go like this and that guy can go like that and this guy's ear will wiggle and really that's what it was about. Like, and we won't understand like none of the stuff that we think is important or that seems important to us is necessarily what God's looking at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when we watch a movie, what are we waiting for? We want to see the hot chick show as much of her body as possible, right? Because whatever, we have these mechanisms of reproduction and whatever, there are things that the human being, both male and female, things that catch your eye, things that are important to you, things you're looking for, and you focus on that and you block other things out. And then we think that God has the same values
Yeah.
or that he has the same concerns or the same interests. So what I'm trying to say, folks, I guess, is that uh, it's kind of scary too. But like, God might be more interested in what two doped out bums are squabbling about
Yeah.
than what two major world leaders are talking about at a G8 summit. I know that doesn't make sense to you or
Because
me.
they're both the same. All four of them are the same. Remember how you said that these so-called leaders are like they're like well, the ones that are, it's like the billionaires, they're like they they're kind of like bums who are fighting over scraps in a like in those like garbage cans that are
Right,
on fire.
in the grand scheme of things, right?
Yeah.
It's
You
like
know?
no, it's like me on a construction site
Yeah.
fighting the
Yeah.
other apprentice for the cleanest bucket to sit on
Yeah. Yeah.
for lunch. That was the thing. Everybody was like, "Who's gonna get the cleanest bucket?" I'm
Yeah.
supposed to give it to the foreman. And you're like, "Yeah, whatever." It's really whoever gets it first.
Yeah. Dude, can I just say one more
Because
thing
if you,
about the
you get the bucket, because if you get
yeah.
the clean bucket,
Yeah.
right, you're like the lowest level apprentice like me. If you
Yeah.
sit on it, so you're gonna force the foreman to like
Yeah.
expose himself as a douchebag for
Yeah.
asking you to get up so you could sit. Like
Yeah.
everybody's like, "Oh, get up for the lady. Oh, she's very delicate. She needs to sit
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
bucket." Anyway,
Yeah.
that's what it's like.
What was I gonna say? Dude, it's actually crazy divine providence that in a way that this happened today. And it's almost like in the spirit of Charlie Kirk, how tomorrow is September 11th, and it's like kind of like the one day where I don't know if that even happens now, but when it happened, it was kind of the one day where we just forgot. Oops, we forgot about our political differences, and they're just reading those names of their relatives and stuff like that, and it doesn't really matter who voted for who.
Yeah.
And maybe people will just remember, if they're watching, there's a lot of people watching, right? So they're just gonna be like, maybe it's better to be like this than what led to yesterday, or it'll be tomorrow. So they'll say that will led to yesterday. It's better for us to be just understanding that there's like a common enemy that did this, and they did the same thing to Israel, or they're trying to do the same thing to Israel even more. It's literally the same ideology. Uh, and that's it, you know? Um, at the risk of like, well, we were going to talk about September 11th. Dude, I'll just say, and I think we mentioned this before, I just remember it was weird to me because, George W. Bush, he came, to ground zero. He had a bullhorn and he said, these people are going to hear from all of us very soon, blah, blah, blah. It inspired kind of
Yeah.
patriotism and riled people up, and it was good. And then I don't even know if it was specifically him or somebody from his administration. I think maybe even he also said it. Okay, let's not put all Muslims in one pot, so to speak.
And
Okay.
he also said Islam's a religion of peace.
Yeah, I was like, okay. And from then on, I was like, this is strange. I already felt like I didn't even know the word psyop. I didn't know the term psyop, but I literally I was like, back in my mind, I was like, am I being fucked with right now? That was my thought. I was 20 years old in college. I was like, I'm being fucked with, right? Someone's effing with me. And then the whole thing, the beating of the drum started with, okay, so Afghanistan, fine. So like that, they could kind of justify. But then, like, I remember reading about Afghanistan articles, just like historical articles about how basically it's kind of like where empires go to die. They send if you send your troops to Afghanistan, that's, you're 10 or 20 years away from just like basically you're done. Right? So Soviet Union, there's other empires, England also, UK. Uh, and then the whole thing with Iraq started, and I'm just like, it was weird because like in a way, for a certain amount of time, I kind of defended it. I was like, yeah, Saddam Hussein, he bombed Israel. He for sure is, we know he wanted to get the nukes, and we bombed his nukes before in the 80s, and he probably does have, WMD, and he probably did send them to Syria clandestinely, and that's why we didn't find them, blah, blah, blah. If you get rid of the guy, it's going to be safer if we get rid of the guy, this whole doctrine, right?
He used chemical weapons, mass
Yeah,
weapons of mass destruction.
correct. He did. But the thing is, it almost seemed like at the time I was just kind of like, even John Stewart, I remember was saying, I was like, what about Iran? I was like, and then I was like, yeah, what about Iran? Like, hello, like Hezbollah, Hamas, even at that time. I don't know, just everything seemed like weird. It didn't line up. Like, it seemed very bizarre to me, the whole thing. If anything, I remember like even leftists saying, well, these kind of like Democrat kids, why didn't we attack Saudi Arabia? Like, why didn't we
Well,
attack Saudi freaking Arabia? Oh yeah, I forgot. The Bushes have a relationship with them.
I don't know. I mean, I remember, I think the reason being that it was actually the Taliban that trained and
Yeah,
financed, and they're the ones who organized the attack, right?
correct, correct.
And it's something. Okay, fine. It's sort of like, what if they were from Kentucky?
Yeah,
What if they were a bunch of Muslim converts from Kentucky
yeah,
who then went to Afghanistan and hung out with the Taliban and then became the Al Qaeda, right? Isn't
yeah,
Al Qaeda just an extension of the Taliban,
yeah.
right? So
It's true, but the thing
do
is,
we
they
bomb
were
Kentucky?
well, they were. The question is, who were they funded by? See,
I'm saying
Afghanistan, yeah,
the reality is perhaps Saudi Arabia, but at the time
yeah.
people were saying bomb Saudi Arabia because the guys were from Saudi Arabia.
Sure, sure.
It
But
was
then
sort of like bomb Kentucky because
yeah,
the guys are from Kentucky. I mean, that didn't make that much sense to me.
yeah. Well, the thing is, you find out that they were funded by way of, you know, Saudi and all this kind of thing. Saudi was involved.
That became apparent later.
Yeah,
I'm saying, what were people
yeah,
thinking of at the time? How, like,
yeah,
people aren't complete idiots.
yeah,
Okay, Saudi. If they were to tell us Saudi Arabia, it was carried out by Saudi Arabians and funded by the King of Saudi Arabia.
yeah,
Everybody would be like, "What the hell? Where are you going to Afghanistan for?
yeah,
What are you doing?"
yeah,
All right, but that's
yeah,
that. I'm just saying, like, it
yeah,
was what was said.
yeah. Dude, I just remember, can I show the folks at home a scene? There was a movie made about, when the Soviet Union went into Afghanistan called the Ninth Company or the Ninth Division. Девятая рота, it's called in Russian. And there's a scene in the movie that basically told me, um, when I saw it, I was just like, you know what? America is not. Well, you can watch. Let's watch this scene first, and then there's two scenes I want to watch. The first scene is like there's a commander. He's like basically telling his guys. I just want to see if it's all right. So this is dubbed. No, it's okay. Whatever. Commander telling his guys about the locals in Afghanistan. And another scene I want you to see.
All right.
Here. So much better in Russian.
Afghanistan. It
Horrible
is a
dubbing.
multinational state. A minimum of knowledge necessary to interact with the locals. You'll
Wow.
find in this pamphlet here. See it? But the most important thing for you to remember when you cross the border is that you will be inside of an Islamic state. Islam is not just another religion. It's an entirely different world with its own set of laws, an alternate view of life, and of death. A true Muslim is not afraid to die in battle, and those who perish while fighting against the infidels, which is us, get a one-way ticket to heaven, where they will get everything they lacked in this life. Water, bountiful harvests, and big-bosomed virgins, houris. Relations with women in Islam is a separate conversation. The most sacred thing to a Muslim is his home, haram. This is where the word harem comes from. The second meaning of this word is not allowed or forbidden. Looking at Muslim women, haram. Anything with sexual relations, haram. It's haram to show a Muslim any obscene gesture, which all of you are used to. For that, you can get a bullet from a peaceful civilian. On the other hand, a Muslim will never defile his own home with blood. The moment you step foot in a village, you are considered to be a guest. Killing a guest, even if it's an infidel, haram. So remember, never forget this. As long as you are within a village, you are safe. But the moment you step beyond its boundaries, the same host who was giving you tea 5 minutes ago can shoot you in the back with no hesitation. Because killing an infidel is an heroic deed. A stairway to heaven. I'm telling you this for your own sake, soldier. So here it is. Afghanistan. It is a multinational state with more than 20 ethnic groups living there. Tajiks, Turkmen, Uzbeks. Along the Pakistan border, you have the Pashtuns, and in the west, Khazars and other Mongolian tribes, who settled here after the Mongol invasion in the 13th century. The word Khazar means 1,000 in the Turkic languages. Soldier, Is this not interesting to you?
Comrade Captain, does it make a difference who we kill?
In all of history, no one has ever managed to conquer Afghanistan. It's never happened.
When he said it in Russian, he said "никогда," and then he repeats "никогда," never, never, and then again never. And this scene, wait a second. There's one scene where I want to show you when
Because it's the sphincter of the earth.
Yeah.
Nobody really wants in the first place.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, man, like
You have dingleberries living there. Okay, that's why.
It's a mountainous terrain. And it's very, very, very difficult. These people know every nook and cranny of that area, meaning the people who are there.
Oh.
And it's difficult to fight an enemy like this. So here, I think I may have found the scene I was looking for. Yeah, this is the scene. This is it. Speaking of turning around and there. This is essentially what you're dealing with when you're, this is what the American Army also dealt with. Watch this. Yeah.
Probably a little piece of shit, right?
Yeah. This is already like this is the kind of stuff you have to deal with, You can't, yeah.
I want to tell you the primary thing that I hate about Islam. It's for what they do to children.
Yeah.
That's why they're less than human.
Yeah.
Because how do I define a human? More than these are not just insults that I'm sending because I'm angry, but the primary definition of a human being to me is someone who loves their children and takes their children out of harm's way.
Yeah.
You get your children to safety and you love them and you protect them.
Yeah.
These fucking sub-monkeys teach their children to pick up weapons and kill the kufr.
Yeah.
Okay? You're not a human being if you can do that.
Yeah.
it goes against the human instinct.
It's like the video of that lady. She's like, we're willing to sacrifice more and more of our whatever. More of our kids and more and more. Dude, you got to be, I don't know, like,
Look,
it's unrelatable.
Islam, nothing is ever needed to be either be eradicated or radically reformed
Yeah.
than Islam. It's an alien. It is literally worse than the ancient paganisms of the past. Christianity is infinitely better than Islam.
Yeah.
Because the Christians that I know, right, as wrong as their perspective is on doctrine or their view of God as the Trinity and a lot of problems, okay? But they're human beings. Christians are human.
Yeah.
Okay, their souls, their God-given souls shine through their confusion.
Yeah.
And they protect their children and they love their children. And I want to only live with people who have an instinct to get their kids out of harm's way and to let their children have childhoods and to keep them innocent and to keep blood away from them and to keep murder away from them, right? And never, as long as possible.
Yeah. No, nobody wants to talk about that. They only want to say, "Oh, what if you?" It's funny. Like, I always hear this whole, "Well, if you were that downtrodden, you would go to these lengths and blah blah blah." I'm like, look at it. Look, I'm like, look at India. Look at all these third world countries. Do you see people, sending their kids to be suicide bombers in those places? No. This is not about that. This is just an ideology that cannot stand the fact that the Jew came back. They have 53 Muslim countries, 22 or 56 Muslim countries, 22 Arab countries. They can't have one Jewish country. They can't allow that. They can't. It just, it's like, what really grinds my gears? The one Jewish country.
Look,
people who still think that 2,000 years ago. People in the first century.
I said that Islam is infinitely worse than the pagan religions.
No.
I want to tell you why. Could not give a shit that it's monotheistic.
Yeah.
It's one God, one. Okay, they worship one God, okay? But they still worship Baal. Okay, so back in the day, there was many Baals, right? And each Baal, it was common to sacrifice children and women and girls and whatever, and to do horrible atrocities, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now they do the same shit, except they chose one God. No, it's one. They rejected all the other Baals, and now they worship one Baal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they sacrifice their kids to him.
Okay. It's a crime that they actually taught us in high school, not in high school, in public school.
Yeah.
That Islam, Christianity, and Judaism are the three Abrahamic faiths.
Yeah. Yeah.
Islam is a slap in the face to Abraham. Abraham, who did everything that he could to protect children from sacrifice.
Yeah.
He did everything he could to stop people from sacrificing their children, right? And it was literally a soul-crushing, mind-breaking test.
Yeah.
God gave to Abraham, which is, I'm not going to share my personal views on that test.
It was a test. It was a stretching of the, my father when he talks about that whole episode, he mentions that he kind of compares it, he comes from the computer programming world, and he says that, you do Hashem's a designer, right? So he has the manual, the Torah, and you do stress tests. You kind of you stretch the limits of the system and kind of what it can handle really. And it sounds very, it's like crude. It's very like it was almost like emotionless. But that's the best analogy my father could come up with this thing. Not only that, I heard a famous thing that basically that at that time there was all these civilizations doing that, right? So it on the one hand it was mind bending and it was kind of like how do you expect me to sacrifice my son, but at the same time, um, it wasn't like what we call Shir Sakalim for him, I don't think. Meaning it wasn't out of the ordinary of what was around him, is what I mean. Not to say it was okay, but it wasn't out of the ordinary of what was around him.
Let me explain to the folks at home who might not be familiar with what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So there's a point in the Torah where God seemingly told Abraham to go sacrifice his son
Yeah.
Isaac, right? And they use the term Yahid, like
Yeah.
it's translated as his only one, but it doesn't mean that. It means
It doesn't mean.
his most valuable,
Yeah.
his the one that stands out.
Yeah.
And that was Isaac, because Abraham had other sons,
Yeah, yeah, Ishmael.
Ishmael, and then later other sons.
Yeah.
So that test was so. The reason it was a test was because God told him to do something which was so against his nature.
Yeah.
And was so against everything that God had told him before that Abraham had to essentially disconnect from his rational mind and from his own intellect and just operate. He did it. He completed the test. And ultimately, of course, God, did not allow the sacrifice to go,
Yeah.
to go through. But the point of that was that it was a test,
Yeah.
not because God wanted to see whether or not Abraham would kill somebody for him.
Yeah.
Right? He wanted to see if Abraham could disconnect from his own rational intellect for God. That's what it was about.
Yeah.
And of course,
Yeah.
God did not allow the sacrifice to occur,
Yeah.
and all this kind of stuff. So the story, it's not necessarily obvious to everyone, but it screams anti-sacrifice of children.
Yeah.
By the way, when Sarah was informed what Abraham had set out to do, she had a heart attack and died.
Yeah.
Okay? It was so against the nature of Abraham.
Yeah.
Okay? It was the greatest test that anybody was ever tested with.
You want to know the irony? The irony is that the Muslims have a holiday, Eid al-Adha, where they literally inverted the whole thing and they said it was the sacrifice of Ishmael,
It was Israel, and they glorify it.
and they glorify it. It's and every time Bibi, he wishes them happy Eid al-Adha. I'm just like, I had
We're
friends
not talking
oh,
about Bibi.
what's the
Right.
problem? What's the problem? I'm like, what's the problem? Okay.
Diplomacy is a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. These people want us dead and out. Like what's there to talk about with them?
Islam is an anti-Abrahamic faith.
Yeah.
Anti-Abrahamic.
It's just astounding to me that, like, I mean, we spoke about this many times, but the people that are happy about Charlie Kirk's murder, many of them don't believe in God. But for some reason, they respect the people that we just described. and it's interesting because there's I saw a video of this this French leftist girl. This is from like
Oh.
recently, not the one that you mentioned. And she was like saying how wonderful Islam is and how this and how that it's liberating. I literally think that these people are just like they left. There's such a void in them, right? That they're searching for something. They're in reality they're searching for God or something to connect to, and they see in Islam some kind of like I don't know something noble. I don't know. I don't know what they see. What do they see in Islam? What do you think?
Islam,
Like the atheist lefty who converts to Islam. What happened there? What
I
goes
want to
on?
explain. I'll explain it. We've spoken about it many
Yeah,
times.
yeah,
I'll completely. Islam is trans. It is.
yeah,
It's Gnostic and it's trans
yeah,
because it finds a way to justify every proclivity that a human being, no matter how low,
yeah.
there's a place for it. Raping children as part of jihad, raping animals, right? Okay, fine. But then
Rape
you
is
have to,
resistance. Yeah,
but then you have to kill it.
yeah,
Break its neck. You can. I've heard preachers, and you've probably heard this too, right? Talking about what happens if you rape a goat or a sheep or something like that. Yep. It says he said it like this: if you get a heavenly feeling, and then you go with a goat, you go with a sheep, just remember to break its neck.
strange.
So their urges, right?
Yeah,
Like that Russian officer was explaining to his
yeah.
soldiers, right?
Haram. This is haram. This is haram.
No, but he was saying that they were expecting, busty,
Yeah,
virgins. Like that's
yeah,
their.
yeah,
So you can say, well, that's a literal thing, and there's deeper Islam where they understand it's symbolic and yada yada. But practically speaking, right? We're talking about the average Muslim,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
They're thinking that no, they're gonna have sex with a bunch of virgins just for them, and they're not gonna have to smell. There's no bad smells from
yeah,
these virgins like you might encounter from a human
yeah,
woman, right? They never have bad breath, right? They're always clean. There's no spit. There's nothing that it's basically it's like it's like internet porn,
yeah,
right? It's very similar
yeah,
because the stuff that the stuff that people watch on the internet, right? They go crazy with all sorts of stuff,
yeah,
but they don't, the stuff that you watch, you wouldn't necessarily participate in real life
yeah,
because in real life, there's texture, there's odor,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
There's also dealing with real people, right?
yeah,
It's not just like these objects that
yeah,
for your fantasy, right?
yeah,
So the the Muslim view of what their reward is going to be is a lot like what internet porn is,
yeah. Of course.
right?
It's almost like
So
it's almost like childish when the first time you hear about it. It's literally the desires of like a teenage, just like I don't know, immature child. Oh,
no,
I'm gonna get 72 for. What's wrong with you?
so
Grow
it's like
up.
Muhammad is like, all right, what are we going to reward these
Yeah,
morons with? The lowest common denominator. We're not going to talk to them about
yeah,
you know sublime heavenly
yeah,
realities that they can't
yeah,
relate to.
yeah,
He likes the big boobed
yeah,
village girl. We'll give him
yeah,
72 of them.
yeah,
Okay, it's not complicated. Okay, the guy lives in the sphincter of the earth. Okay, he lives on Hoth.
yeah,
From Star Wars. No, no, sorry. He lives in on Tatooine.
yeah, yeah,
He lives in Mos Eisley,
yeah,
not Mos
yeah,
Eisley. What was the name of that city that Obi-Wan was like? He goes, it was like some city that he went to. He's like, Never has there been a more wretched hive of scum and villainy, or something like that.
Uh, it's
Mos Eisley?
the city that was reputed the look of oh yeah, Mos Eisley.
Yeah,
Mos Eisley.
yeah.
Interesting.
That's where you live.
It was located on the planet Tatooine. Tatooine. Yeah, it's all like
Tatooine.
it's when you walk in, it's like
Exactly. Oh,
You
people
know
are
what,
not in a great mood.
dude? Oh, speaking of, that's perfect because remember in here, Team America, when they go in into the bar.
No.
Sorry, into the here into the terrorist.
I apologize for stuffing my. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten like
It's okay.
the whole day, and all I got is popcorn, and I have to eat it. Sorry.
Here, check this out. Okay. 1 second. Let me just go to the scene where they let him into the here. Here, I'll just play the whole thing. Okay. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, by the way. Incredible. You ever see the behind the scenes of this?
Actually, you know what?
How they
I
made the
haven't.
sets? How they made the sets of this movie? It's incredible. It's amazing.
I'm very disturbed by what I've learned recently about the South Park guys.
Oh, okay.
They both got Bill Burr, apparently.
Okay, whatever. But this is still here. This is still like a brilliant.
Durka Allah, Muhammad Jihad. Bagala, Muhammad Jihad. Bagala, Muhammad Jihad.
He's wearing a towel.
Muhammad Jihad. Oh, shit. Come on, Gary. Act. You have the power.
Gary, act.
Buck, Durk Allah. Durka, Muhammad Jihad. Haka Sherpa, Bagala. Oh, Durka.
All right, Gary!
Told you he was Top Gun. I've never seen acting that good.
He's amazing.
Yeah, no, I know. It's terrible.
Sand people.
We are
Just the same
Bashir
people.
rebels from the country of Somalia. Who are you? My name is Hakme. I'm a terrorist. Anybody know of any terrorist attacks coming up soon?
Chechens. They all hang out in this one place.
I sense that I'm becoming
Somalians,
attracted to Gary.
Chechens.
My advice is not to get involved with the team members, Sarah. It's too painful to see them die.
I'm sorry, Lisa. I didn't mean to bring up...
It's okay, Sarah. I treasure your friendship.
I treasure yours, Lisa.
Hey, have you ever thought of telling Sarah how you feel? Huh. What would a girl like Sarah want with a simple Nebraska boy like me? I don't know nothing about fancy cars and fancy restaurants. Still, I'd love to show her full moon night on the cornfields.
What do you know?
I heard there might be a large terrorist attack. If you tell me what it is, maybe I could help out.
Get out of here. We have put out a jihad on the infidels because they destroyed our lives. What do you know about pain and sadness?
I was just a boy when the infidels came to my village in their Black Hawk helicopters. The infidels fired at the oil fields and they lit up like the eyes of Allah. Burning oil rained down from the sky and cooked everything it touched. I could only hide myself and cry as my goats were consumed by the fiery black liquid death. In the midst of the chaos, I could swear that I heard my goats screaming for help. As quickly as they'd come, the infidels were gone. It was on that day I put a jihad on them. And if you don't believe it, then you better kill me now, because I'll put a jihad on you too.
I like you. You have balls. I like balls. All right, listen carefully. The WMDs are located in a secret bunker 20 yards east of this building.
Yeah. I like you. You have balls. I like balls.
They love balls.
Yeah. This entire movie was brilliant. Everybody, I would recommend it.
So, listen. If I'm not correct about this, I'm pretty sure I am. Like, you can be a guy, but considered a woman, like in Iran, right? Like, or in like Pakistan, right? Like you can get a sex change operation, and then they'll actually consider you a woman.
Yeah.
Like you can't be gay.
Yeah.
But you can change your sex.
Yeah.
Can you look that up? I'm pretty sure I'm not making this up.
Yeah. Was it Pakistan sex change? Yeah, transgender in Pakistan. This is a whole thing, like a 13-minute thing on one of these German, DW, the channel.
Yeah.
From protected to pariahs, afraid of transgender people. Okay. Ostracized. Okay, fine. Okay, let's see.
No, but there's a place for it, right? Like there's
Yeah. It says Pakistan rolls back. Yeah, Sharia court ruled, this is from May 2023, that transgender people can no longer change their gender markers on official documents to match their gender. So they don't allow that anymore. Right. And a blow to human rights will expose transgender people to heightened discrimination and violence.
But leftists see that these things are like Islam it's like pliable.
Yeah.
Like you can find your niche, your niche.
Well, yeah, there's some of them even responded to one of my social. No, you can. In Islam, you're allowed to do this and you're allowed to do that. It's very open to the. Dude, they're just like it's like some sort of they have like a death wish. These people, the whites who want to join. Not much a death wish.
You and your buddy, you're allowed to practice jihad, right?
Yeah.
You can you need to practice mutilating animals, right? Before you do it. You need to it's okay to rape men when you're at war with them, to humiliate them.
Yeah.
And you could practice that with your buddy. Right? So it's not because you got to be able to do it during jihad. You understand? There's a place for you in Islam.
Yeah.
If you're a dedicated
piece
of shit.
Yeah.
If that's your thing, right? If you're looking for a way to indulge your lusts, right? There's a place for you. Like there should be like a song, like a South Park song, right? About like Islam, like there's a place for you.
Yeah.
Like some kind of Hamilton thing.
Yeah.
If you like strangling cats, there's a place for you. If you like buggering boys, there's a place for you. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what it is. Like, that's what, as insane as what it sounds like, this has become reality.
Yeah. By the way, sir, they're saying there's some Twitter account that posted, two Twitter accounts, the leading report. They're
No.
saying that the guy who shot, they have some intelligence on the guy who shot Charlie Kirk. It might be somebody like foreign. And then now there's a post that says a private jet under the tail number N888KG left Provo, Utah airport an hour after the shooting. Suspiciously, 30 minutes into the flight, it drops off of ADSB, which is like the tracking system, illegally and reappears headed back to Provo approximately an hour later. Why did this plane turn off its radar? Where is the shooter? It's almost like it went somewhere, dropped, somebody off, it like disappeared, and then it came back to Provo to the airport.
I don't know. I wouldn't waste my time on this. They catch him when they catch him. They
Yeah.
already caught and released 2 guys.
My question is, it's not only who's the guy. My question is who, who does number 2 work for?
Who's the handler?
That's my question. That's my question. It's funny because like I think even Obama would know. Obama, he would realize that offing a guy like Charlie Kirk would not be to his benefit, would backfire on him. Obama would know that. So it's probably more of a instigation. Whoever's doing this wants to instigate civil war.
Yeah. That's why we have to do the exact opposite.
Yep.
Right? We have to somehow, like Charlie, he had some kind of energy about him that was about being open-minded, just being open to talking to people.
Yeah.
Right? Now, obviously, and he had a lot of success.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's what they were terrified of. They were terrified of his effectiveness at winning hearts and minds, right, to the conservative movement, right? Many, many young men, like he turned an entire generation of young people, and that was the left's bread and butter.
Oh yeah,
right? That was their
everybody knew that.
Their foot. That was their their
foot soldiers.
Maybe not. Yeah, there was their foot soldiers, but that was their primary crop.
Yeah, I mean, by the time these kids got to college, they're already cooked, and now you can just, mold them into whatever the hell you want.
Think about what Charlie was doing. He was going to their religious cult centers, like in some ways, like Abraham, right?
Yeah.
And Charlie was converting them politically. Abraham was converting them religiously. But Charlie was converting them politically, right? That's where Charlie's power was. It was just to understand that, to make people understand, or to show people what a conservative is, a decent, open-minded person, someone who just wants a good country where things are fair, people could say what they want, they could practice their faith however they want, but you got to, in order to have a country, you have to prioritize family, and that means husband and wife with children, right? You have to have generations have to create the next generation for the country to continue, right? Promoting this kind of stuff. It's literally everything that the left despises, right? And he went to the place where they manufacture leftists. And he began using their own centers as a way of creating conservatives.
Yeah.
And that's why they killed him. That's why. So instead of killing leftists, we have to convert them more. Right? So they thought that by killing Charlie Kirk, they put a stop to it. We have to make sure that they understand that because they killed him, that is now they have 1 billion Charlie Kirks now. Yeah. That's it. Their operation is complete. They accelerated their own demise.
Of course.
By generations, by decades.
Yeah.
because of what they did just now. That should be our response. Make a clip of that.
Yeah.
Because that might actually, I don't often say let's make a clip of that, but I think that one might be useful because we don't want, they want to turn our side into a bunch of angry murderers, right? Because that's what they are.
Yeah.
That's another step towards,
Projection.
towards us. They want to prove to us that their way is inevitable. Like, like they're like the Borg.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's no way to beat them unless you become like them. And when you become like them, then you're already basically them anyway, and that kind of thing, right? That's what they want to, right?
Yep.
But really, we have to make them understand that they're finished.
Yes.
Because of this.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe we should have realized that before, right? Maybe we could have taken his example in some way, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe if I was a more forgiving person and I didn't,
Yeah.
I was less resentful, I could have I don't know. It's hard. I actually don't see, because the kind of person that I am, I still would have been wouldn't have paid attention to him enough.
Yeah.
Right. Because I have my own biases, right?
Yeah.
Because, he pushes his Christianity, and, obviously there's always the Christian angle, and he wants to convert every Jew to Christianity. And there's a little bit of distrust there because you're talking to someone who has an agenda.
Yeah.
Especially to a Jew.
Yeah. For sure.
Right. But I should have, no, but even though a lot of times, even though I know people who do have agendas, and I know, and they're trying to convert me, and there's all this, but there's still decent, good people that there are things to learn from. Like you could, you know what I mean? Like we could have learned more from him, become more like him. Then maybe perhaps they wouldn't have thought that by killing him you can stop what he's doing.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda, all that kind of stuff, right? It's a little too late for that. It's very hurtful that he's gone. Basically he's just looks like a nice kid. He looks like a kid to me. He was a young guy.
He was
with two little kids and a wife. Yeah. And it's obscene. It's stunning. It's very, very, very depressing as a father of a young child, right? For children that young to not have their loving father. That's like imna the yaiteri as it zayata.
Yeah.
But that would kind of
yeah.
I don't know. It just makes me so I'm kind of struggling to get a hold of my anger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to divert my attention. Usually I go to comedy or a stupid shtick or whatever. Other things. And
do you want to listen to it's a clip of Charlie Kirk arguing with this kid about October 7th? One of these Oxford Union, blah blah blah. These British, whatever.
Let me ask you, in the conflict of Israel versus Hamas, who's the good guy?
I believe both Hamas and the Israeli government are evil, but I think also that there is no justification.
Are they equally?
There is no justification for the murder and mutilation of thousands of innocent people and children in a futile.
Let's zero in on it.
There is no justification, Mr. Kirk.
Oh God!
Feeding hospitals, for bombing innocent populations and dragging out a war which is damaging Israel and the West security.
You've made that point, but
it's not a point; it's a moral truth, isn't it?
Okay, yeah. It was also a moral truth that the war started because 1,300 Jews were killed and 200 were taken hostage. And when you declare war on Israel, expect a firestorm in reaction. Let me finish. I let you talk. Israel, at its holiest day of the calendar year besides Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah, Samat Torah, the 50-year anniversary of the Six-Day War. On Shabbat, Hamas invaded Israel, deciding to go recklessly to music concerts, to homes, to kibbutzes, and taking 200 plus hostages. They knew what they were doing. In one of the most cloistered urban environments on the planet, 2 million people live in a place where it's impossible to wage war. Impossible. Where they wear civilian clothing, they violate every tenet of the Geneva Convention, and the IDF, when they do something right, they get no credit. When they do life-saving surgeries of a Gazan child, they get no credit. When they drop leaflets, they get no credit. But when they happen to bomb a place where they are operating their military from, which we now know from third-party verified sources, hundreds of Hamas military operations are in mosques, schools, and hospitals. I'm sorry, the country where they were living in relative peace on October 6th, that all of a sudden we had a war, and Hamas started the war. And I don't see people that were really upset about the 2 million Germans that were killed in World War II, civilians. A tragic truth of war is that civilians die. I don't like it, and you don't like it. And they brought it upon themselves. The only operation and entity to blame is the leadership of Hamas, not the Israeli government, for fighting this defensive war after they were invaded. There is a good guy, and there is a bad guy. I honestly...
Isn't that the morality of a child?
Well, hold on.
It's
interesting you say that, because a child who knows that Israel is the good guy, Hamas is bad, has a lot more wisdom than a student like yourself at Cambridge University.
Oh, yeah, Charlie was amazing because everything about that fucker fills me with rage that I can't. First of all, his fucking hair.
Yeah.
It would be impossible for me to resist the urge to grab his stupid head.
Yeah.
And just go, you know, I become like Paco. Remember Paco from like
yeah.
You know,
from Bloodsport.
Yeah, Yanyimagu. Do you understand that?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We can't.
Just pop his head like this. Just grab him by the neck and just watch his head pop. Just for the haircut. Okay? Just for the haircut. Not even anything that he says. That haircut alone deserves every medieval torture. Okay? That's number one. Number two, his pipsqueak little face and those stupid red lips of his. Okay, so see, that's why Charlie's amazing, because Charlie was able to somehow contain the rage of the appearance of that little fucker. You just know by everything, by the physical characteristics of that little fucker, what is going to come out of his stupid mouth. And his performative psychosis. I love this new term, by the way. I can't stop using it. Okay? You saw how he's like looking around, oh, you know what I mean? Like he needs the approval, right? He's looking around. He says something, he's like, oh yeah, give me applause, you know, like, oh my god, they drive, dude, Yanyimagu. Folks, there's a term in Russian, Yanyimagu. That means
I can't.
Like, all right, we got to play Don Rickles and Anthony Quinn. Can we play Anthony Quinn? First of all, there's two reasons why I need to see that right now.
Yeah.
But it's just, in the end, we're going to emphasize how amazing Charlie Kirk is as a patient human being. The guy was his soul, the soul of a saint, a confused religious view, yet a pure soul, the saint who's in heaven, by the way.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what he believed, but now he's with the truth. Now he sees the truth, and he's very happy, and he's in heaven. Okay, because he was a good person.
Yeah.
Ricardo Montalban, who's also a great actor and a friend. Ricardo Montalban and I became good friends with Tony Quinn. Now you got to know Tony Quinn. You say to Tony Quinn, "How do you feel, Tony?" You know, it's a great day. It's a great day. The sun's out. It's a great day. Take it easy, Tony. You know, I always thought he wanted to kill somebody. I'd say, you know, Tony, let's take a walk in the park. A walk in the park. Yeah. It's a good idea. And he would drink. In those days, we used to drink with him with the weeds in it. Grappa, yeah, but Sunday. Grappa, and grappa could make your can fly in the air. You could unscrew your navel. Your ass could fall down when you drink grappa. And he would give us a little shot of this. Let's have a little grappa. And it was practically miss his mouth, for Christ's sake. Grappa. 3 o'clock in the morning after the Slate brothers would go to his house, and he'd sit there and go, where's my wife, Make some pasta, for Christ's sake. Make some pasta. That's all of it. So now we go to a classy restaurant. We used to go to, not the Deutsche Vita, the other one, with the
Scala.
No, with the La Scala with the blackboard, yeah. And we go in, and they had a blackboard for the menu. And we're gonna, and Ricardo and I would be there. Now, Tony Quinn could not say hello to you. You know many actors that do this. Whenever he saw Ricardo and I would be together, and we'd sit down at the table and say, "We're gonna have dinner tonight. This is wonderful. My family, these are my people. Ricardo, I'm doing a movie in August. You're gonna be Eddie, and Don, you're gonna be Frank. You're gonna be Frankie. That's the movie. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great." Both go home that night. Ricardo, you're gonna be Louis, and I'm gonna be Frankie. We're gonna be in a movie with Tony, isn't it? Yeah. Don, this is great news. Great news. This is wonderful for both of us. Wonderful. Boom. Dissolve. 2 weeks later, we go out to dinner. I'm with my family. This is so great. Ricardo, you're gonna be Phil, and Don, you're gonna be Al. And I'm doing a movie in September. We're gonna be together in that movie. Go home. Ricardo, you're gonna be Al, I'm gonna be Phil. We're gonna be in a movie together. Boom. Man did that to us every time, and like two schmucks, every time we bought it, we'd call each other and say, and we're never in the movie. Now, dissolve. Now, he takes me to, this is something, takes me to USC, to the university, says, the guy that does, sign language, from me, from France. Marcel.
It's called a mime.
Marcel. Shut
Sign language.
Marcel.
Wait, go back.
You know, Don, we're going to go see Marcel.
10 seconds, 10
USC,
seconds.
To the university. Says,
He's talking to John Landis.
Yeah.
The guy that does, sign language, from me, from France.
Marcel.
Marcel.
It's called a mime.
Marcel. Shut up, John. Marcel.
He's like, shut up, John.
You know, Don, we're going to go see Marcel.
Wait a minute, stop.
What?
Start this by saying that Anthony Quinn is going to take you to see Marcel at USC. Okay, go.
Anthony Quinn's going to take me to see, with my wife and I, and his wife, to see Marcel, who was in town and was a good friend of his, to see him do his mime about USC. I say, Tony, that kind of stuff, I'm not too crazy about. You're gonna enjoy it. You're gonna enjoy it. We get there, we sit down. Ladies and gentlemen, Marcel, and he comes out. Tony, this is going about a half hour. I say, Tony, Don, we ought to go outside. I can't. Yeah. This guy's making me nuts. So I don't say nothing. We get up nice. We go to the door. We stay in the wall. I can't take it anymore.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. Stop it.
It's okay. Go outside.
Later in the thing, he goes, "Go tell that guy we can't be in a movie together. You know me. I get too crazy. Yeah. You tell him. You got your way, right?" Yeah. So I'm like Anthony Quinn, and Charlie Kirk is like Don Rickles in the story, who can talk to these people.
Yeah.
And I'm okay to talk to normal people, folks. I'll talk to anybody, but there's conditions that I can't.
There's things that I require.
There's things. But it's very low. I'm a very low maintenance person. All you got to do is not be a dulbayo. That means you can have different opinions from me, right?
Yeah.
But you could sit there, you say what you say. Yeah. I'll be quiet. I'll listen to you.
Yeah.
And then I'll make notes of the points that you made. And then when it's my turn to talk, I'll tell you what I think. And you'll be quiet. And you'll listen, right? And you'll sit there calmly. And then we get two people, and we disagree, but we listen to each other.
Yeah.
I can do that. I can if you can obey those rules, talk forever.
The problem is those people cannot obey, as evident they cannot obey those rules. Most of them.
But if you start jumping around like a little monkey, like a little howler monkey, like that piece of shit, that kid, right? And then you got that grabbable hair.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
I can't.
Oh, we're gonna have some grub. I'm gonna be in a
I'm
movie.
gonna get too crazy. You go talk to him.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So
Dude,
I needed to
it's
watch that for two reasons because I got so mad at that clip, bro. The rage that I felt was so intense just now,
I
bro.
know, I know.
And
Dude, you
and
know what the
so
wor the worst
I
thing?
needed a little bit of relief, but also I think it was a way of expressing
Dude,
how
before
amazing Charlie Kirk is.
he is amazing, and I wonder sometimes, dude, before my sister met her husband, she dated this guy dude, this guy, I'm not gonna get too much into detail because I don't want to like out certain people, but this guy, somebody in his family was very, very close to Rabbi Kahan, and still is, still believes in Rabbi Kahana, still is like a normal human being.
Yeah.
So this guy, I don't know what happened to him. He went to like Yeshiva University and he just like some way, somehow he found other things that were not connected to Torah and he just became like a horrific leftist. But it wasn't as evident at that time. So my sister was dating this guy, and then I remember like just getting into discussions with him, and to his credit, he tried to kind of be civil, but in the midst of him attempting to be civil, he would always do this like like it's almost like a gaslighting, but with like semantics. If you said something, he would like try to catch you on like it's not even technicalities, it's like minutia. Like you knew he understood what you were saying, but he's trying to like zing you with like language.
He's not taking you seriously.
He's
He's
not, yeah. And at one point I was like, dude, I'm gonna punch you in the face. I told him that straight up. I'm like, I'm saying this because like if you want to have a discussion, let's have a discussion. But if you're gonna keep doing this, I'm gonna smack you. It ended up the last conversation or argument I had with him, it was like literally a family lunch or dinner. And then it was like the thing that broke the kind of camel's back for my sister, and she realized, okay, like, you know what I mean? She was just tired. It was other things, whatever, but she was kind of tired of putting out fire. Fire literally was going to be like either him or us.
He's being a snarky little shit.
Yeah.
And, he's not really,
Yeah.
he's talking to you like,
Yeah.
he's not that he's so past the point of talking, of actually talking to you, right? Or having a discussion that now he's just going to try to like, just either mess with you or enlighten you.
Of course, of course. And he realized he couldn't enlighten me, so he's gonna, dude. I told my sister I'm one of these guys. She knows me. Like, I'm not gonna like force. I'm not gonna do this thing where like, oh, any guy you date has to pledge fealty, to me or to a parent. This kind of thing. He has to have like uniform opinions, dude. Me and my brother-in-law, we sometimes have like, we don't agree on everything, right? We don't agree. We had like that wasn't intense. It was just like a whatever. Like he has his own view of like on Tisha B'Av, we were having a conversation about like Mashiach and like whatever it was, right? We had like different difference of opinion. But the one thing he doesn't do, he doesn't like gaslight me, and he doesn't, you know what I mean? Like it's always like, and I don't require somebody like kissing my feet or bowing to me or this kind of thing. Or quote unquote, respect your elders. I don't even expect that anymore because I see that they don't anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even so, like I told myself, I'm like, I don't need this guy to like agree with everything I'm saying. I don't need it's just about like, okay, like you have an opinion. I have an opinion. We're respectfully listening to each other, whatever it is. Validating something that we agree, okay, saying I don't agree with that, okay, whatever. But it was just like lack of respect. Total lack of, like complete lack of, in every facet. And she realized that it was just really, and I think back to the guy and I see these kids and I literally, this is what I see, like what the Talmud says would be before Mashiach, when Mashiach, it says there's going to be very, very bad chutzpah. Very, there's positive chutzpah and there's bad chutzpah. There's negative chutzpah. This is negative chutzpah. The kids who think that they are smart, but are not, they think highly of themselves, and they think because you're older, you don't know anything, and you're not up on the latest whatever the hell crap is coming out or being literally defecated out by the people who are defecating it, powers that be, MTV, whatever it is, right? Whatever group of people, that's the worst, man. But that, but they said Mashiach, that's what will be before Mashiach. That's what we would see.
Oh, we spoke about this when we spoke about the movie Little Monsters.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like those little demons, right?
Yeah.
That ended up going to this world where there's no rules, right? You don't have parents that tell you what to do.
Yeah.
And then everybody, do as thou willst. Right? It's satanic, right?
Yeah.
So in the movie, Fred Savage, he wanted to be like his buddy, whatever. I forgot, that blue silly demon thing that became his friend.
Yeah.
Right? It took him to the demon underworld, some kind of dimension. And there's a leader there. Right? And there was rules, except you follow the rules of the demon leader. Like that's what it is. Like that's who they're just morons,
Yeah. Dude, by the way, some lady, Teresa Payton, Tracker Payton, I don't know, on Twitter.
I don't know.
I have been contacted by a number of high-profile conservatives this evening for getting death threats tonight after Charlie Kirk assassination. This is serious. The shooter is still at large. If you've received a threat, contact the FBI immediately. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. No, I think it's just a bunch of assholes who are just like, no, doing these like psychological threats on people. Unbelievable. Dude, there's all these effers celebrating this. They had on TMZ, the offices, you could hear like people cheering, these girls and guys. Dude, it's just I don't know, man.
Every university that doesn't have every last professor condemning this in no uncertain terms, right? Without any little comments. Oh, it was terrible, but anything, right? And if you have students who are posting about or glorifying this, right, should immediately be expelled. And professors who refuse to condemn it in the strongest possible terms, right, with no addendums or little things, right? If that doesn't happen, the entire school immediately loses federal funding.
Yeah.
Nationwide.
Yeah. It's almost like
these pagan temples, which are called universities, need to be destroyed.
Yeah.
They're high places, right? Like the Torah says, destroy their high places.
Yeah. Dude, somebody tried to pray for him. Lauren Boebert tried to pray for him in the Congress, and then some literal bitches. Suki, Yobani Suki, pardon my language, folks.
Yeah.
Were like, dude, they're like, I don't know, it's like banshees. It's like
just and Luna, she when they interrupted, that Luna was like, "This is your fault," like she was saying that. Like,
yeah. I don't know, man. We're going. I really hope we don't go down a very dark path. I really hope this place, it's almost like, in a way, I mean, if you're talking about spiritual chemotherapy, this is probably what this looks like. Meaning, if you think about chemotherapy, the therapy does something, right? Or at least designed to do something positive, right? But then the side effects are negative. So if it's positive in the sense of people, we're going to have a spiritual revival, right? The negative will probably be just like all the people that are now, these demon beasts who are just going to be going against that, right? They're going to be writing articles about it. They're going to be making, and they're going to keep trying to provoke and provoke and provoke people who are going it's literally with God or against God, right? So people who are going with God they're going to try to keep provoking us. That's like the side effect of the spiritual chemotherapy that the country is going to have to go through. but the process is going to be very, very, there's going to be a lot of puking. There's going to be a lot. It's going to be very scary. That's right. My only, and I think that sooner than later, at some point during this, starting now, probably until, we always say 2027. I hope sooner than 2027. Mashiach's gonna have to come because I don't think we're not gonna. You can kill a cancer patient with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro.
So,
This episode is supposed to be about that. It's supposed to be about the wonders that happened with the destruction, with the strike in Qatar, the incredible UAP here.
Yeah.
I didn't even talk to you about that.
Dude, I saw clips about it, but nobody, again, like the media is not all over it.
So what I wanted to say was, even though he's a kook, Stephen Greer had the Disclosure Project in 2001.
Yeah.
Right? Like it was like a month or two before 9/11.
Yeah.
Like, no, it was like the same week or something like that.
Yeah.
Right? So it was like, that should have been the biggest news. Because he did organize this press conference with these real life whistleblowers, right? Who come and they gave testimony about all the amazing stuff that they've seen, like that FAA director, Callahan, remember?
Yeah.
And all these real high up people, right? They were real people, right? And it was overshadowed by 9/11 because all of a sudden everybody's focused on 9/11. Then you have this amazing UAP hearing, right? And then it's almost like like they're doing it again. Like they're trying to divert people's attention away from this incredible stuff and just get them to focus on this tragedy and horror and everything else that goes along with it. Okay. I wanted this whole discussion to be about that. And we're not going to do that because I also have a hard stop at like 12:15 because I have to drive home and I haven't slept normally in weeks, honestly, because I go to bed really late. Rafi wakes up really early. It's catching up with me, you know what I mean? But I just wanted to say a couple of things, like maybe as a preview for maybe the next time, if you're willing, if you're interested, right? So, it's odd that, well, let me start with like this. I saw a video of a guy on YouTube, right? Samosa, who covers this topic. He has a podcast, obviously, with way more views, and he has obviously some kind of budget or something like that. He has a studio, this kind of thing. And he talks about this topic, and he covers the spiritual, religious angle of the UAP thing, right?
Yeah.
But he's also extremely anti-Israel, right? And seemingly he takes on Jacques Vallée's view of the UAP thing, but with his own kind of twist on it, that it's a negative thing.
Yeah.
Okay? Jacques Vallée came up with a book called I forgot the name of the books. Deceit, or can you play a few minutes of that? Not the whole thing. The whole thing.
I need to. I mean, you sent it to me on Signal, so I need to.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find it. I just wanted to play the first couple of minutes. Maybe you even skim a little bit, right? I wanted to get to a specific point because he actually reads portions of the book.
This is the thing you sent to me on YouTube, right? This Jacques Vallée most controversial theory.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I'm totally not in support of this guy's YouTube channel. And guys, watch what you want. Make your own stuff. But I'm very unimpressed. In fact, he's like the shadow image of this podcast in terms of his view of Israel and that entire phenomenon. and then maybe we can play that incredible footage that they played at the UAP hearing.
Yeah.
Which is like, what the hell?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this guy has a budget, obviously.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm so compelled. Listen to the music.
Non-human intelligence exists. It is interacting with our planets, and that interaction is ongoing. And there are people in the defense and intelligence community who are aware of this interaction. If you don't believe what I've just said, here is Colonel Carl Nell saying exactly the same thing.
Non-human intelligence exists. Non-human intelligence has been interacting with humanity. This interaction is not new, and it's been ongoing. And there are unelected people in the government that are aware of that.
Pretty impressive for the deputy CTO of Northrop Grumman, one of the world's biggest defense and aerospace companies. If you're still not convinced, truthfully, honestly, this video is probably not going to be for you, because today we're taking for granted that the UFO phenomenon is real and that it's interacting with us. And we're going to be asking the next question, which happens when you're in this world of ufology, which is, what is it doing? Why is it here, and what are its purposes? And when you ask that question, very quickly, the extraterrestrial hypothesis becomes kind of challenging. And if there's one person who's helped our entire field challenge the extraterrestrial hypothesis and think in bigger ways, there's no one better than Jacques Vallée. Jacques Vallée is an astrophysicist, a computer scientist. He contributed to the founding of the internet. The precursor of the internet was the ARPANET, which he helped develop. He also helped to map Mars. He contributed to that project. He's done some pretty incredible things. He's a very bright, intelligent person. For those of us in ufology, we see him really as, I guess, the godfather of our field, one of the most mature, thoughtful, incisive thinkers. And recently I've been reading one of his best books, Messengers of Deception, for the first time.
Yeah.
You can see my copy is relatively battered, full of marks. It's been on a lot of journeys with me. I took this really...
Okay, so this is what I really want. Like, I think I'm going to buy this book, and so that we don't have to go through like these go-betweens, you know, like this guy.
Yeah.
He's going to mention some points from the book. He's going to like read them. And so basically he's saying that these things are from all the cases that Jacques Vallée has studied, right? And he's been studying them since like the early 60s, right? Very, very seriously, like very seriously, okay? Probably nobody is as knowledgeable as Jacques Vallée is about the honest nature of the reality of this phenomenon, because he's interacted with so many non-kooks who've had these experiences, and these are not high profile cases. These are like, you know, doctors and politicians and scientists and just regular people who they only ever reported their experiences to him, right? And there's like countless of these things. And he said that the whole space aliens thing doesn't make any sense at all. Yeah. Because of the nature of the experiences that these people had. And so he's wondering, so what is this? Like, what is happening? If they're not aliens, then what? And so obviously something non-human is interacting with us. Yeah. What is it? What is it about? What is it trying to accomplish? So he never really answers the question of what it is, but he mostly is focused on what is the effect it's trying to have. That's Jacques Vallée, not this guy.
Yeah.
Okay. So Jacques Vallée essentially comes to the conclusion that it's molding our consciousness. It's showing us remarkable, crazy things, and it has been doing it through all of recorded history. And its goal is to shape how humanity sees the world. That's its primary agenda.
Yeah.
Can you play a little bit more of this? Maybe like another 5-6 minutes. I didn't watch the whole thing.
Seriously, you know why? Because at this point, I've read, I think, 8 of Jacques Vallée's books. And although I've loved them all, I've never come away feeling like I can clearly articulate exactly what it is that he believes and what it is that he's trying to say. And so this time I thought, right, I'm really going to chew this over and make sure I get it. Make sure I truly get it right down to my core. What is Vallée saying about UFOs and the UFO phenomenon? And today, it's going to be a bit of a different video. And I'm going to walk you through what Vallée teaches us about the UFO phenomenon and the conclusions that he reaches. At a high level, this is what he says. Obviously, this stuff is real, but the extraterrestrial hypothesis doesn't make sense. Instead, we should look not so much at where it's coming from, because that's quite hard to answer, but let's look at what it's doing here on this planet to try and see its motivations and the impact that it's having socially. And what he identifies is a consistent social impact that this phenomenon has been having on our world, on the way that we think, on the people who have contact with these technologies, and the way that they then go and change society and interact with society. He highlights exactly what that impact is. And some of that is very alarming. The other really remarkable thing that Vallée talks about in this book is something that challenges the very core of how we think about this phenomenon.
Okay, so I'll give credit where credit is due. He did create this little chart. He can make, he's qualified to make bullet points, I suppose. Okay.
Yeah.
So he says that the UFO phenomenon is absolutely real. Okay, this is Vallée, right? But ET. So far we've mentioned everything. So basically, it's the social impact. We can't really examine what they are specifically, right? But we can examine what it's doing or what it's trying to do. So the phenomenon is creating a consistent social impact, and the social impact is very alarming. Now, this is where I probably a guy like him and a guy like Vallée, right? They're very alarmed by it. Yeah. But this is where I think it diverges from the Torah's perspective. And I think ultimately that Vallée is anti-Torah. And this guy for sure is anti-Torah, anti-Israel, anti-everything. Yeah. So this is where I wanted to stay, because we've spoken about Jacques Vallée in the past, but I'm worried that for those who are really paying attention, I'm not promoting his perspective. I'm just saying that from all these Gnostic fruitcakes, he comes closest, but he's also the most dangerous. Because he wants you to think that the development of humankind and the way things have developed so far, right? He says it himself, that these things have been essentially molding, they've been having a social impact throughout all of history, right? So I guess the way his history has been guided is a negative thing to Vallée. Okay. Yeah. Which is bad.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm saying is that God has been using his other, messengers, if you want to use a technical term, right?
Yeah.
To have an impact on humanity, right? We read about some of these interactions in the Torah. Okay, and this guy is very anti-Torah, very, very anti-Torah, as you'll see later, or you can watch his other videos, right? And so that's really what's going on here. So the social impact is very okay. Let's listen to a little bit more, because there's a couple more points I wanted to make before we move on. I'm sorry, please continue.
In 1977, which is when this book was written, Vallée was relatively convinced that human beings could mimic the UFO phenomenon and its technology. That is, he felt that we had the psychotronic, mind control, and other technologies required to create the experiences that we might associate with an abduction or with a contact experience. In 1977. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk you through exactly how he gets to this point, the arguments that he makes, so that you can walk away understanding what one of the greatest thinkers of our time in terms of UFOs really thinks about this topic, and also coming away with some of the disturbing implications of that for how we think about what is going on today. Is it possible that what we're seeing amplify all around us in 2025, is it possible that a portion of that is being simulated? Is it possible that the defense and intelligence agencies, even back in 1977, had the means and capabilities to simulate the UFO phenomenon and contact experiences. And if that was possible 50 years ago, as we reach this climax in 2025, 2026, 2027, what might be going on? Super important questions for us to be able to answer, and we're going to be able to answer them better by walking through this together.
Здравствуйте, мы первая компания блокчейн-криминалистов.
What happened?
No, it just went to an ad.
Yeah. There's like a few more minutes. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like there's an important point that he's going to talk about that I'd like to kind of counter. He has another video that's entirely focused on Netanyahu, Israel, and the UFO thing. And he's like really, really the enemy.
One of the first things Valet does, pretty much right from the outset of the book, is he challenges.
What'd you say, Gnostic what?
He's a Gnostic fruitcake, Sheba fruitcake.
Oh, yeah.
Challenges the extraterrestrial hypothesis. And he does this in three ways. Firstly, he looks at the volume of landing cases. Then he looks at the behavior of the euphonauts, the beings that come out of these craft and the way they interact. And then he looks at the physics of the craft and the sorts of things they can do. So let's walk through those three relatively quickly. Firstly, one of the points he makes early on is there's just too many landings. So Valet says that over the course of 20 years, he's identified 2,000 very good landing cases that he feels very confident about the witnesses, the quality of the data. And he highlights that these only happen within a few hours in the evening. And the reason he says for that is because people go to bed at 10:30. So he says, look, what would happen if people stayed up all night? Based on the number of cases that he's documented, if people stayed up all night and looked for these craft, how many would they see? And he speculates it'd be somewhere in the region of 30,000. He then makes the point that we know from scientific studies of unusual phenomenon that only 1 in 10 cases is ever reported. So he multiplies 30,000 by 10, which gets you to 300,000. And then he points out that if these craft are actually coming here to do some clandestine activity that's real from another world, then there's no reason why they would only appear in human populated areas, right? They would also be doing their scientific studies or whatever it is that they're supposed to be doing in non-human populated areas, which then multiplies it by another factor of 10, because humans are only seeing them at certain times, in certain places, and then only reporting so much. So that's how you get those multipliers of 10. This is what you would call back of the cigarette packet mathematics, but it gets Valet to a number of 3 million landing cases. Now let's say he's slightly off, right? Let's slice it by 10 down to 300,000 landing cases. The point he's making is, what are they doing? What are they doing? If they have the technology to travel from another star system, from another galaxy, and they're coming here.
Sorry.
By the way, visually as well, so many different species of them. What are they all doing? And this is where you get that idea of why didn't they just land on the White House lawn? The data shows us that they're here, but what they're doing seems frankly ridiculous. So he points out that this whole idea that extraterrestrials are landing to do some scientific studies in a clandestine way doesn't really add up. The next point that Valet makes is about the beings themselves as they come out of the crafts. He makes a few important points here. Firstly, they're all humanoid. You know, they all have sort of 2 arms, 2 legs. Which is fine in terms of convergent evolution. Maybe that is what would happen if you had these beings appearing on different planets with the right principles, humanoid shapes would come. Okay. But the fact that they can all deal with our gravity and that they can all breathe our air seems kind of crazy, right? If you just watch one of those videos about the gravity of the different planets in our solar system, you quickly begin to realize that it is not the same and that we would hardly be able to stand on any other planet apart from our own. So these beings seem to break that rule. They all come here, walk out of their craft, having a wonderful day, and breathe our air, and it seems totally fine for them. So that's another point where he highlights, isn't that kind of strange for extraterrestrial beings? And finally, Valet highlights the way that the craft themselves work. He documents a few cases from his files where he highlights that these craft behave in frankly strange ways. Here are some examples. March 1954, Santa Maria, Brazil. A man observed 2 occupants of a football-shaped craft who spoke in a strange language. The craft vanished silently and instantly. June 1962, Verona, Italy. Following a UFO observation, a woman was awakened by a feeling of intense cold and saw a being with a bald head near the house. She called other witnesses, and all saw the apparition shrink and vanish on the spot, and he quotes them here, like a TV image when the set is turned off. October 1963, Whidbey Island, Washington State. A middle-aged woman saw a strange craft with 3 figures inside. It tilted, partially sank into the ground, grew in size, and departed with a flash. And finally, November 1968, France. A prominent doctor saw 2 large disc-shaped objects merge into one, and the single object sent a beam of light in his direction. It vanished with a sort of explosion, leaving a cloud that dissipated slowly. So this is what Vallée says in conclusion to these cases. I hardly need to point out that this behavior is contrary to what physical objects do, and quite impossible to duplicate with our current spacecraft technology. It is the behavior of an image, or a holographic projection. Yet at other times, the objects seem to have left material traces. There may be a machine involved, but a machine that remains out of view of the witnesses, who only see what it is projecting. When we go to the movies, we look at the objects and the people on the screen. We do not stare at the projector. That final quote is very interesting. I wonder if some of you might be thinking right now about the 5 observables that Lou Elizondo listed when he first came out all those years ago. Hypersonic velocity, instantaneous lifts, no observable flight surfaces. I can't remember them all, but one of them was transmedium travel. And it seemed like what he was encouraging us to believe was like, wow, look, this technology can fly through mountains, oceans, skies. It doesn't seem to be affected by the changes in the physics and the chemistry and the actual thing that it's interacting with. It can just move through it. It's interesting hearing Vallée talk about the idea that an actual explanation of that might not be that this is some really advanced technology, but rather that it might be a projection, a holographic image of some kind. It also makes me think of Plato's allegory of the cave. You know, the story where he talks about these people inside of a cave and they're seeing these shadows on the wall, and they don't realize those shadows are being caused by people standing behind them who are putting objects in front of a light to cause those shadows. The idea is that these humans believe that they're seeing reality, when in reality the projector, to use Vallée's a version of this here, is behind them, and that's the thing that's causing what they're seeing in front of them. And of course then Plato's allegory then goes further, which is there's actually a world outside of the cave where you don't even need projectors because there's sunlight, right? There's a whole world you can't even imagine. I think it's really interesting to hold those two things together here with what Vallée's saying. The idea that the UFO data doesn't look like physical craft sometimes. It turns off like a TV set. It dissipates into a cloud of smoke. It seems more like an apparition or a hologram than a real...
So that's what the Torah describes, that like it's the things that we see, like these things that break nature, they are projections of something coming from a higher reality that we can't see. Like we're in the darkness of the cave, and people attribute that entire metaphor to Plato and whatever, blah blah blah. Okay? I'm sure Plato originated it anyway. Okay. I hope you sense my snarkiness there.
Yes.
But anyway, but essentially they're talking about a world, a dimension, right, that is producing this effect. Right? It's projecting it onto our reality, and sometimes we can see some aspects of it. Right? So that's essentially what it means. Like he's talking about Yetzirah. Okay. So and that's what that seems to be what the Torah is saying about these objects or these things, these type of beings that people see and stuff like that. Okay. So the Torah is not saying that it's a bad thing. And the Torah tells us that we are guided by heaven, right? That heaven impacts on us, right? And especially at certain times and at certain places when things need to shift forward in some way, God can reveal something like Mount Sinai was a heaven experience. It was a massive opening, right, which projected onto our world things that it opened up. The cave opened, and we saw the higher reality, right? Okay. So far so good. But here comes the part that where they reveal who these people, where he reveals who he is and probably who Valet is. Now, after this point, if you can continue playing it, we're approaching the reason why I wanted you to see this. This is suggested to me by YouTube, by the way.
There you go.
Real physical device. And this is what really pivots him into asking, okay, well, how do we understand this? If this isn't extraterrestrial, because of the number of landings, the beings, the behavior of the craft, what might it be? And if someone is projecting a hologram, an image, into our reality, they must be doing it for a purpose. And this then leads him to ask his next question. What is that purpose?
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it.
It doesn't matter anymore whether flying saucers are real or not. It still matters to me, of course, as an individual scientist. I have often stated, and I still believe today, that UFOs are real and technological. When I say it doesn't matter whether they are real or not, I am speaking of their social impact. You will find scholars who will prove to you that the supernatural powers of Jesus Christ never existed. But you can also find scholars who will prove to you that they did exist. Does it matter? Of course not. It only matters to the experts who have staked their academic reputations on either side of the argument. The effects of the belief in Jesus, the impact of the doctrine based on the story of his life and death, are real enough. Socially, historically, the consequences are beyond question. I claim that the same now applies to flying saucers, because enough people believe in them, enough people believe that contact with them is possible, and enough people even believe that they have secretly achieved such contact. It is too late for science. The social, the historical, and political consequences of the spreading belief in contact with space are here, and they are real, no matter how ludicrous and bizarre they may appear. The point he makes about Jesus is so pertinent. I don't know whether you believe that Jesus was real. People have a difference of opinion about that, whether you believe that he was the Son of God, whether you believe that he was just some preacher, maybe a historical figure, maybe you don't think he existed at all. But actually, does it matter? In the Time list of the most influential people of all time, Jesus is listed as the number one. So even if you believe he doesn't exist, it doesn't matter, right? The reality of him is bigger than his historical existence. And I mean, in the case of Jesus, we literally define time based on when he was born. It's the year 2025 because based on that calendar, it's 2025 years since Jesus was born. That's the way that we literally measure history. That's how influential he was. So it's a really good point. Rather than just asking whether people exist or certain phenomena exist, let's look at the social consequences. And as Valet begins to look at those social consequences, he makes this incredible statement. And I had to pull this quote out because I believe it really represents the critical point of this entire book and of quite a lot of Jacques Vallée's thesis and hypothesis on the UFO phenomenon. It's just wonderful. So let me read you this one. I propose that the UFO we see is, among other things, a device which creates a distortion of the witness's reality. That it does so for a purpose, which is to project images or fabricated scenes designed to change our belief systems, and that the technology we observe is only the incidental support for a worldwide enterprise of subliminal seduction.
Okay, you're
I
following?
believe there is a machinery of mass manipulation behind the UFO phenomenon. It aims at social and political goals by diverting attention from some human problems and by providing a potential release for tensions caused by others.
Oh, here we go.
The contactees are part of that machinery. They are helping to create a new form of belief, an expectation of actual contact among large parts of the public. In turn, this expectation makes millions of people hope for the imminent realization of that age-old dream. Salvation from above, surrender to greater power of some wise navigators of the cosmos.
Hey, stop.
I love
please.
this quote. And later on we'll hear.
Okay, so Valet considers this a negative thing.
Yeah.
Can we read that quote again, the one that he just passed? Like,
It's funny because Reagan mentioned that, the whole thing about his speech in the UN as a positive thing. If we're going to get together, if we have this.
Which is to project images or fabricated scenes designed to change our belief systems, and that the technology we observe is only the incidental support for a worldwide enterprise of subliminal seduction. I believe there is a machinery of mass manipulation behind the UFO phenomenon. It aims at social and political goals by diverting attention from some human problems and by providing a potential release for tensions caused by others. The contactees are part of that machinery. They are helping to create a new form of belief, an expectation of actual contact among large parts of the public. In turn, this expectation makes millions of people hope for the imminent realization of that age-old dream. Salvation from above. Surrender to greater power.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh no, I mean, I'm sorry, I wanted just the text to remain so we could just speak whatever it's like.
Yeah.
So basically, they're portraying, can you?
Yeah, I'm trying to get back to.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Don't yell at me. I'm very sensitive. Yeah, just kidding. In turn, this expectation makes millions of people hope for the imminent realization of that age-old dream, salvation from above.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah. So Mashiach, Marshmallow Man.
Unbelievable, okay?
Yeah. Okay. So he's speaking of it as a negative thing. Right? That the things that happen, so he believes they're real. Listen to this.
What would compel him to do that? Is a question.
So
why is he bothered by people's notions of?
Okay, so to him, he does not have a Torah background.
No, I understand that.
So I'm explaining. So I might agree with him if I didn't know the Torah was real.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So to him, all of these things, right, that people are experiencing, right, these spiritual phenomena, right?
Yeah.
And the way that it's affecting and changing the course of humanity, right, is a negative thing.
That's what I mean. Why does he need it to be negative? Like, why is he intend?
No, because I don't know if he needs it to be negative, but he views it as possibly negative because who are these people and why are they manipulating us?
My question is, почему это его ебет? Is my what part of my language?
Well, maybe he doesn't like to be manipulated. Any kind of manipulation is right. Messengers of deception.
Yeah,
that's the name of his book.
Yeah.
So he admits it's been going on through all history. He admits that it's real.
Mm-hmm.
He admits that it comes from dimensions unseen.
Okay.
Right. And he admits that it guides the course. It changes perception and it affects human consciousness. Right.
Yeah.
He's suspicious of it.
What I mean is, it's amazing to me that he doesn't make the leap that it's like from God or from some spiritual realm.
Well, you'd have to have.
Forget about Torah, just on a basic, kind of just like raw.
Right. He doesn't know. He doesn't know what God is. To him, God might be just another one of these creatures from mythology that whatever these things are portray themselves as.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Even if that's the case, so what?
Well, it's
like dude, imagine you're like an ancient Greek and you're seeing these things and you're like, oh, Zeus is gonna save us.
Right.
Someone's gonna save it, whether it's Zeus, whether it's I don't know, whatever, Prometheus, whoever it is, it's still better than Macron.
So
to that person, you know what I'm saying?
So I think he has the anxiety-filled view of a Greek, of an ancient Greek, who's under the thumb of these capricious evil deities
who are like half human, have human sentiments and all
those. Those are demigods.
Yeah.
Like the Greek gods, right? Were immoral. Like they didn't, right? Like they used people as pawns for for their games, for their soap opera like dramas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's worried. He's like, what if it's like that? Or and if it's like that, maybe there's something we can do. Maybe we can escape. We can, we can somehow like this is. I get the feeling like this is where he's like coming from, right? Like he doesn't know that the Torah is real.
Yeah.
And I've read several of his books. Based on his books, he is, unless he's hiding it, right? He has it doesn't seem like he has any familiarity with the with the aspect of the Torah, or the certainly its Hebrewness. He doesn't have any relation to that whatsoever, right? Or he doesn't have any sense that the Torah is something that could not have been manufactured by finite entities, by humans or even some kind of creatures or aliens. Because he look, not a lot of people know about this. So I'm not saying that I necessarily fully blame him for his perspective.
Yeah.
He's just the guy who doesn't know Torah, but he studies, he observes things that he's seen over the course of like 50, 60 years. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, he's like, here's what I've observed. There's these things interacting with us. They mess with us. They change perception. And it affects the human mind. So earlier when he said that they shape, I'm sorry, I apologize again. If it's not too much trouble, can you go back to that text?
Yeah.
It was like 3 paragraphs, right? It was like, there we go. So it aims at social and political goals by diverting attention from some human problems, right? And by providing so Valet thinks we shouldn't be diverted from our human problems, that we should we should solve them, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Also, the contactees, or whatever, right, are part of that machinery, and I'm sure he considers the prophets of the Torah to be among these contactees. Okay. And he says they're helping to create a new form of belief, an expectation of actual contact among larger parts of the public. So he sees that as a negative. I think that it's absolutely the whole, like, that's the era of Mashiach, like he's describing, right? Like humanity itself has to get to that point where it's prepared or expects to interact with Yitzira or whatever, like the deeper aspects of reality, right? But God open up to us. Okay. And then in turn, this expectation makes millions of people hope for the imminent realization of that age-old dream, salvation from above, meaning salvation from the higher realities, right? So he goes on to say later how, this is a negative thing because it might discourage people, because if people think that, especially that the bottom paragraph, right? Then they might be discouraged from doing anything with their lives. Like, oh, we're going to get salvation from above. What's the point of me working on myself as a good person? What's the point of me opening up a business and seeing it through? What's the point of me, getting that 6-pack I'm aiming for, or learning how to be a ninja, or learning how to play guitar, or having a family or anything? There's going to be salvation from above, right?
Yeah.
So this is probably how they're going to frame the Torah.
Yeah.
Right? Or anybody who believes that there is a salvation from above. The Torah actually says that you have to prepare yourself for that salvation from above, right? By doing all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Good.
Okay? That you affect the salvation.
Yeah.
That you can't sit around waiting for it.
Yeah.
Right? That you actually have to make it happen.
You can bring it.
You have to contribute to it.
Yeah.
And you have to prepare yourself for it.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a proactive, it's completely. So that's my main problem with these motherfuckers, because that's what they're going to do. They're going to try to frame people like, Torah-minded people as people who just sit, they're like, we're just going to wait for the marshmallow man.
Yeah.
Solve all our problems.
Yeah.
So, the Rebbe, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, is the exact opposite, right? He's the primary teacher of Torah, of the idea of Mashiach from the Torah. And he is the primary person who encourages proaction, right? bring Mashiach. How? Through acts of goodness and kindness,
Yeah.
through charity, through good works, helping people, teaching Torah, helping people with their needs, constantly busy, be as busy as possible. Work on yourself, become a better person, help others. See anybody around in your area that needs help, you help them, right? So it's the ultimate realization of a person reaching their potential with all of their energy, always busy. It's the exact opposite of the way they're going to portray people who are waiting for Mashiach. I just wanted to point that out. Because if we're going to talk about this topic, you have to see that there are people who, like Jacques Vallée is a guy who needs us. I don't know if we're ever going to talk to Jacques. I doubt it. I'm just saying, but a guy like him needs people like us, because with all of his experience in like the details of the phenomenon and all the decades that he spent interacting with people who've interacted with it, he's obviously panicked and anxious about it, because he's worried about it. He spent decades worried about it.
Yeah.
Right. So all we'd have to do is show him the mathematical perfection of the Torah, right? The fact that it could only have been written by the one and only creator of existence. Once we accomplish that, then we might get a chance to change his perspective and not be overly anxious about what's going on. And we could also show him that it's not something that makes people give up on their own lives or avoid their problems. Because that's what he goes on to say later, like quoting Val. Okay. I thought this was important enough to talk about.
No, I agree. Listen.
Now, I kind of regret, I was wondering, like, maybe it's not a good idea to give that guy, any like publicity or to help people get to know him or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know, let people think for themselves. You guys, if you want to watch, make your own decisions. But I wanted to show you, Greg, this specifically too, because there's a lot of people who take this very, very, very seriously, right? And the spiritual angle, right? And they are our opponents.
I know.
I don't think you've seen that before. And they obviously have a better podcasting budget than we do.
No, I mean we know that in the, so to speak, UAP community, there's like this faction and that faction. There's the Torah faction or the biblical faction, and then there's the
Torah faction would be us, my friend.
Not Torah, but like the faction that actually believes in some version of God. Dude, you know what James Woods said about this? Sorry, just
about Charlie Kirk?
Yeah, he said this is the turning point. Dear leftists, we can have a conversation or a civil war. One more shot from your side, and you will not get this choice again.
I don't know if it's up to James Woods to make that decision.
It's not, but right now there's this whole talk of in the Twitter sphere of like right-wing people just don't like, this is like Bob Probert trying to coax you into a fight and you're a Ty Domi. Don't react. He's trying to instigate you. So we can either have a conversation, or we can dance in the middle of the rink, and that's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be broken up by the referee. It's going to be. It would probably end up being like a all-out brawl that you saw with Philadelphia Flyers. Just like the whole team just kind of getting involved.
Bro, this is this is America having its how can we exist with Palestinians?
Yeah.
Moment right now.
We're either going to have this
like
two-state solution.
The Democrats are the
Palestinians. Yeah, we're either going to have a two-state solution, or if you want to talk to us, we can have a real conversation without takia, without all this stuff, without the dugri, as we say in the shuk, like real conversations.
Yeah.
In good faith, we can do that. Or we can, if you're so scared of us and you think we have all the guns, then why would you poke a sleeping a sleeping giant, a sleeping bear? Like, why would you do that? Unless you're psychotic, unless you're demonic and psychotic and suicidal, or I don't know what.
No, I mean it's kind of like it's the
It's like a moral high ground they have. They want to
it's
have the
literally
moral high ground.
right. They want to. It's kind of look. There's some kind of they're like a board like entity.
Yeah.
Where, you know, it's an intuitive, subconscious, spiritual phenomenon.
Yeah.
That the left has. They're like worker bees who have some kind of underlying protocol that they're following that they don't necessarily fully consciously understand, but they're basically each one, not each one, but many of them are willing to, I don't know how conscious they are of it, but they are willing to kind of like burn it all down.
Yeah, of course.
You know, and they're not fully read in on the reason why they feel that way. But they have become connected to the satanic, the demonic hub.
Well, can I read
commanding
you,
them
based on what you just said, the burn all down thing? I can read this and maybe we can end on this. I don't know, up to you.
I just had I had like a, can I make just a couple more points?
Yeah.
I'll make it really quick, okay?
Yeah.
Can we actually show that maybe a clip or two from the UAP hearing after you read your thing?
I mean, it's James Lindsay talking about what you just said.
No. First, we're gonna read what James Lindsay. Then after, we just play. I want people to see that amazing video.
Yeah.
Okay, because it was supposed to be a positive thing affecting the world. It was part of that. Seeing a video like that and hearing those firsthand military witnesses, supposed to have that like. They're not contactees, but they're witnesses, right?
Yeah.
So it's supposed to have that effect of wonder on us. And by the way, that schmuck in that YouTube dude, whatever, he literally mentions 2027 later on.
Yeah. Listen, it's everybody, you know,
he made a whole thing about it, right?
Everybody knows something's coming. It's just a matter of, you know.
So anyway, so it was supposed to help open people's minds to not escape their problems, but to make them aware of an entire, or to begin to help them prepare for experiencing an entire area of reality that they didn't know about, that they've never directly experienced. That's what we're being prepared for, and it's a good thing. Obviously, like, you know, overall, it's a good thing. Overall, that doesn't mean that everything that is sent to get you to prepare you is going to be a good, pleasant thing. You understand? Like, it could be a mixed bag. Because some of it could be scary, some of it could be kind of wondrous. It's a mixed thing, but overall, just things from that zone are coming to prepare you for things, to discover things that most of us were not aware of before, right? And so it's a good thing overall. That's all I'm trying to say. Okay. And Charlie Kirk, and so there, so far, right, during these discussions, we have wondered about locations, geographic locations where these phenomena occur, right? And in the discussions that we've had, we've talked about primarily two places: North Carolina, and then Utah.
Mm-hmm.
And in the last 2 days, these places have been very, very prominent in affecting what's going on in the world right now. Right? The girl who was murdered in North Carolina by some kind of demonically possessed creature.
Yeah.
Right? And that has changed our country overnight. That happened in North Carolina. And now today, we have Charlie Cook murdered in Utah. Now, I don't believe in coincidences.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the only reason why. And it was for this particular reason that I decided it still might be not completely inappropriate to bring up this topic. Because today is a Charlie Kirk.
Well, my question is, where is this Utah Valley University? Okay,
it's close enough.
No, I know, but it's interesting. I'm interested in it's called Orem, Utah, and then Skinwalker Ranch.
Isn't like Ute Valley or something like that.
It's called Sherman Ranch, Ballard, Utah. Oh, it's approximately 512 acres. It's a place. Yeah, it's called Ballard, Utah. Uintah County. That's the name of the county.
Yeah.
So let's see.
You want to see if it's like right there?
Yeah, I want to see. Yeah, listen, I have to look. Let's see. Orem.
Keep checking. I'm gonna pee. I can hear you.
It's like they're 2.5 hours apart, basically. Orem is like next to interesting. It's close to Salt Lake. What's funny? There's a town called Lehi. You know, like the organization Lehi. There's a town right next to. Oh, it's close to Provo. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, Salt Lake and then Provo, and then so then when you go a few 2 hours east, then you get to this Ballard scenario. Yeah, Uinta and Array Reservation. Interesting. Huh. This is central Utah, and that's East Utah. Yeah, 2 hours away.
Oddly enough,
yeah,
Charlie Kirk covered the topic.
He did, really?
Yes, he had like I believe he spoke with Lou Elizondo. And I was surprised. Like when I saw that was like one of those times where I was like, this, like it started mixing like I was like I told you, I was aware of this kind of like UAP thing, right? Back in 2010. But I kept it to myself, and I'd kind of casually maybe bring it up, like I don't know, like look at this.
Dude, somebody on Twitter posted watching footage that possibly features a white UAP in the sky, followed by blackbird, then a quick dark flash in the sky. This is the Charlie Kirk like video, one of the videos. The hell?
Yeah.
Where can you see this? Where?
I don't know. I don't know if we need to get into that. It's possible.
Yeah.
But the point is that like even like Charlie Kirk, he, obviously very influential person in our nation, a symbol, right? Everybody's rallying around him. He was tremendous in President Trump, and he covered that topic too. You know what I mean? Like he found it interesting enough to discuss. So it's kind of like here's our reality, right? And here's the topic, right? And it's kind of occasionally bumps into us like this as we go through, at these like unique moments.
Yeah, of course.
Right? So kind of like a drunk driver, kind of like,
yeah,
you're trying to drive and this idiot keeps like sideswiping you. Like that's what the UAP phenomenon is like. Okay. And so it's I don't believe in coincidences. So the North Carolina thing and the Utah thing, I mean, in 2 days, one after the other, both world-changing events. We just talked about how UAPs influence whatever the Marshmallow Man, whatever the shit is, okay?
Yeah.
Impacts, and its purpose is to affect change of human consciousness.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm just noticing. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
As the Groypers like to say, just noticing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Is it okay if I read this thing from James Lindsay regarding this?
Yeah.
He said, I've been trying to share a particular message for a couple of years now, and I can never quite find the words, the right words. I doubt I will tonight, but I have to try again because I watched my great friend get murdered over it today. We have a choice, catharsis or civilization. There's no other choice for us. We can have a civilization where people are civilized enough to live, work, and trade with one another in a productive way, a safe way, a trustworthy enough way, or we can abandon it for the pursuit of letting negative emotions of the past years, decade or decades consume us. There's no other choice. If we choose catharsis, we let our emotions, our pathos, get the better of us. We turn to our anger and look to give it more justifications. We turn to our frustration and seek an orgiastic release through whatever deeds vents it. We turn to our oppression, our rage, our despair, our fear, and we let it flow through us until the pathos pours out and covers the land in what will eventually be fire and blood. Catharsis is tempting, and stepping into it will be libidinous, orgiastic, elevating, and divine until we realize that it's a feast of demons upon everything that we could have built and everything we could have passed on to our children and our prosperity. Civilization is harder. It's bitter. In fact, in comparison to catharsis, it means swallowing hard and taking all those negative emotions and sublimating them into something productive, something that builds rather than makes us feel better. Civilization, sorry, feels like injustice. In fact, even though it is the only basis for justice outside of heaven and hell, if they exist. If we choose civilization, we're allowed to be mad, but we must temper our anger into right action that builds something to leave a better world, which will dissolve it, of course. We're also allowed to be frustrated, but we must sublimate our frustration into the dedicated search for real and lasting solutions to our problems in a civilization worth living in and passing to our children. We are not allowed to live, we're not allowed to despair, though, and we cannot persist in fear. We must have faith that swallowing and metabolizing all of our negativity to turn it into a flourishing society is possible and worth it, and faith will drive out fear and is the mortal enemy of despair. Civilization is not available on the wide path. It is the narrow path, at least so far as the worldly life goes. Veer too far to one side or the other, or even for too long a moment, forget your purpose or principles, and you lose the path, lose civilization, lose everything worth having. Without civilization, though, we will find ourselves in a terror beyond our comprehension. Maybe it will be like the philosopher Hobbes described it in the wake of terrible English Civil War when civilization was nearly thrown aside. Violent, solitary, a tribal, nasty, brutal, short, and a wicked and selfish war of all against all. It looks like the favelas of Brazil. Maybe we'll end up conquered, fighting amongst ourselves while our enemies feast on our folly. Maybe we'll end up holding it together for a little while anyway, under a tyrant who can, for a time, make it all stop and demand order. Maybe we all just end up learning Mandarin and get along mastering the ins and outs of social credit existence. Civilization is worth fighting for, and catharsis is the kind of momentary pleasure followed by pain that every virtue stands in opposition to. In a civilization, we, and each of our children after us, can live as individuals, free to pursue our dreams in sufficient safety and opportunity to generate abundance. Catharsis will be a groupish disaster with all the allure and hangover of a drunken mosh pit. Again, I'm not expressing myself the way I see this issue in my mind. It's such an important message that I can't get right, no matter how I try. What I will say is that for any differences in the particulars my great friend Charlie and I have had, Charlie Kirk I have had, Charlie Kirk stood for, lived for, and acted to his dying breath for civilization. He was far too temperate and wise, even at 31, for catharsis. How can I be sure? Under strange circumstances once, I found myself on a skiing boat on a lake with Charlie Kirk. Music was playing. We were having a good time enjoying the morning. Charlie, with a standard grin, bare chest in the sun, laughed a little and explained himself. I had fun once, guys, and I hated it. Then he made our host change the music from something fun and hip to classical. And we ran up and down the lake alongside all other party boats, listening to Bach, Vivaldi, and Stravinsky, not having fun even once and loving it. Charlie Kirk lived for civilization, and nothing remotely like catharsis would have been near his mind, heart, or soul, even in its darkest, most frustrated moments. Charlie wanted to win, but he wanted to win so that we can move away from evil and move away from cathartic, orgiastic destruction and toward civilizational order, where his family and children can grow up as strong, proud Americans. That's how I know Charlie understood the choice I still cannot articulate. We have two options and only two. They are catharsis and civilization. Charlie Kirk lived what we would have called civilization. May Charlie Kirk not have died so we spiral into catharsis and evil. You know, what does it sound like to you? If you're awake.
I'm awake. I'm just what do you mean?
Yeah. No, I'm just like there's certain things it's not that I don't agree with what he's saying. I just think that he's missing one component, which is there will be a catharsis, but not in the way that these Gnostic fruitcakes are thinking about. The catharsis is we have to wait for Mashiach. As we have civilization, we have to grin and bear civilization. It's like what's his name used to say? Churchill, democracy is the best form of government except for all the others. Worst form of government. So we have to deal with the worst form of whatever the hell we're looking at, quote unquote civilization.
Look,
and then Mashiach will bring us the catharsis, not these fruits.
I think whoever like organized the death of that girl and Charlie Kirk is trying to like mask the sound of Mashiach's footsteps.
Yeah.
Right? Mashiach's like acting in the world. He like, for instance, like the stuff that Trump is doing, right? Not so easy to get the information. Like you have to like read his tweets or whatever, right? Like, well, we did this and we did that. We got this accomplished. We got that. Like these are amazing things that he's doing, right?
Yeah.
But no one is gonna like everyone who's supposed to report is doing their job about it. It's like the guy himself. He's like, okay, and now I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna move here. I'm gonna do this. Like that's not his job to be the reporter as well. Like he's supposed to just do it, but he's like report. He's like, now we're gonna go. We're gonna feed all these people, and then we're gonna clean up the street. Now you can go look. Watch me. I'm going I'm walking to the restaurant. Have a great time. Go out. You can have time. You're not gonna get mugged. Like you know what I mean? Like he's like, look, I'm doing it, right? And he's trying to tell you, like, look, it's getting better. Like, and he's also the reporter.
Yeah.
But if you're not paying attention to him, you don't, and most people aren't, I don't think. They're not saying, following every word of his, including myself, right? You don't know. Like somebody's masking what he's doing. Somebody's like trying to drown out his voice.
Yeah.
When I mean I mean Trump, but like overall, like on a higher level, right? The things that like Mashiach clandestinely is doing in the world to make the world better. Okay. Yeah. And Mashiach is, I think he's causing these like UAP hearings and this discussion.
Of course.
Right. And somebody's trying to drown out. You know what I mean?
Listen, that's why, again, the UAP hearing was not televised. I mean, it was televised, but it wasn't like, dude, I mean,
can we just show that one video?
Yeah, of course. No, I'm just saying it was drowned out by this Charlie Kirk thing.
Yeah, people are saying
it's crazy.
Yeah, you have these like ufology people who I don't follow, but
which video do you want to see?
The video that the congressman played at the UAP hearing of the UAP, the orb or whatever, getting hit by a missile.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, Hellfire missile. Yeah.
Yeah, folks, this is not how physics works.
Yeah. This is not how any of this works. And then I guess we'll end off on this.
Yeah. This is played at the hearing. So that object in the middle, as you can see, right? It's flying over. It's going to get hit by a missile coming from the top left, I believe.
This is intentional by our guys, our Navy guys, or whoever it was.
Yeah.
True. Okay, and
so it kind of like glanced off like a missile.
Yeah.
Right. was like I think somebody explained it was like 100-pound missile.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's just kind of like, oh, okay, whatever.
And the
Just
thing
keep-
kept going, and it kind of
Uh-huh.
and it began to rotate even before the
It's almost
missile.
like it's almost as if it's like plasma or something. Some kind of like a
Yeah.
crazy. Really crazy. Yeah, we are. It's been confirmed that we're basically powerless against these things.
Yeah. And by the way, these right. Okay. So, and then there's the clip of like one of the Air Force guys was talking about like he's saying like a sort of giant black triangle. Now, they're not saying that these things are like definitely non-human technology.
Yeah.
No, they're saying it's non-human, but they're saying that some of it of what they've seen might have been like reverse engineered stuff that our guys have.
Yeah.
That was based on that kind of stuff, right? That is similar, that can perform in some aspects in similar ways. Anyway, this hearing was not a nothing burger.
Yeah.
Okay, and it should have had a more positive impact on the world, and now it's completely basically
it's basically drowned out.
Where a hearing like this could have had a much better impact on the world, right? Had the news cycle not been filled with the tragic murder of Charlie Kirk. So,
all right, folks. Hopefully tomorrow will be.
I'm sorry. I know that I was the one who said I have to leave, but I was thinking about that video that you posted of that retard who, he prided himself on catching that young Jewish guy. Like, remember he's like, this midrash says that the Spirit of God.
Oh, what? Yeah.
I've been thinking about that.
Yeah.
Can I make an attempt?
Sure.
There are many midrashim where things are talking to God. There's an entire midrash called the Osios Rabbi Akiva. You listening?
Yeah.
Where it says the letters each individually spoke to God and complained. This letter said this, and this letter, like the Hebrew letters are talking to God, and God is answering, right?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. And then there's other midrashim where the moon is talking to God.
Yeah.
The moon.
Yeah.
And they're having a conversation.
Yeah.
Then there's other midrashim that, this angel or that angel, and so these are symbolic stories.
Yeah.
So in that clip that you said, the Christian guy was like, the Holy Spirit is talking to God. Obviously, it's not God, right? But it's His Holy Spirit, and they're having a conversation. Oh, so he's like, I got you. Now you're one step closer to the Trinity. These retarded gotcha like things, right?
Yeah.
So I'd like to, show that guy that we have like a million midrashim of all these different things.
Yeah.
And
I don't think he understands what midrashim is.
Oh, I think he understands. He just likes to make clips of himself outsmarting Orthodox Jews because he thinks that's going to help brainwash people into his cult.
Yeah.
So my point is that we have midrashim where God talks to the moon, or God talks to letters, or God talks to angels, or God talks to the Holy Spirit, or what it's translated as the Holy Spirit. Here's my main point. Anything that you can say about God, right? His attributes, whatever, are creations of His. They're projections from God.
Yeah.
Everything is. Okay? About God Himself, there's nothing that can be said. Nothing.
Yeah.
He creates things to interact with, and He creates the interface for which those things interact with Him.
Yeah.
It's metaphorically speaking, if you need a hand to shake,
Yeah.
right? He provides that hand, but it's not him.
It's not literally his hand.
It's something that he created to interact with you.
It's a projection, yeah.
God doesn't have anything like of that. None of that is God.
He doesn't have physical attributes, yeah.
Right? Okay, so some of that, so there's categories of stuff
So now this begs the question: if when they're saying we were created in his image,
it doesn't say that. We were created in his design.
Design, yeah.
We were created in this design that he wanted. Do you understand? Like the form of man, right? The form of our body and our soul, right? Is God's design. Okay, and he presents himself to us in that design.
Yeah.
Right. He interacts with us. Sure. Like what I mean is in the visions of the prophets, right? The prophets, they see when they receive their visions, this visual language that they know God is communicating with them, and they understand that what they're seeing, right? Where you have a man sometimes with like long white hair, or sometimes he has black hair and he's wearing red clothes, or sometimes he's wearing what. They understand that this is a language that God is speaking. Okay.
Yeah.
And he's interacting with us and showing us this because he's teaching us how he wants us to be.
Yeah.
Right. So whatever visions that the biblical prophets were receiving about God, right? Oh, I'm talking about the Hebrew scripture, okay? They understood that this is God showing us our own instruction manual.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever we see, however he projects himself, that's how he wants us to aim for. He shows us a perfected version of what we are. And we're supposed to aim for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? God, not only does God not literally what he portrays himself as, right? In those visions, God doesn't even have names, right? Like we have in the Torah, we say this name of God and that name of God. No, even the names don't really pertain to him. They're just instruments that he uses as a way of communicating information to us about what he wants from us. Okay? So that's how, and I'm only addressing this because I thought you might be troubled by that video that you posted. So I'm doing this for you, Greg.
No, I wasn't troubled with that video at all. If anything, I just thought that you would have if anyone would be able to refute the guy saying that you. I wasn't troubled by it. I just think
troubled by it, but
I just think that there's again, we spoke about this many times. It's almost like Hashem is using the least, so to speak, skillful people in our nation to, like, you're never going to have a midrash expert, or even you're never going to have like that guy's not going to talk to you. He's not going to talk to a big rabbi. He's going to talk to this kid who can't answer. It's almost like a reverse David and Goliath. Send me your champion. So who do we send? In this case, it's not even David. It's just these kids who they don't have the answers.
No, but the thing is, that kid. Yeah. First of all, he was set up. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Second of all, it was edited. That little video,
of course it was.
Right? It wasn't like a recording of an organic interaction.
Yeah.
So the kid might have actually explained it to him like a second later, but he just didn't include that part.
Yeah.
In the video. So
yeah, they're all disingenuous, these people. That's what it is. I have a friend in Israel who keeps sending me, convert guy, he keeps sending me like videos, made by groypers or posts made by groypers where, there's an element, there's obviously a falsehood, to what the person is saying, but also an element of truth. So my friend he's sending me these things to try to basically convey the message that, you know, it's getting more and more of a thing where Jews are not going to be comfortable. I mean, we're already not comfortable in America. But this guy, you know, he moved to Israel. He grew up in America. He already got to a point where he just like he gave up his American passport because he's just like, in his opinion, America's done. Forget about this Charlie Kirk thing. In his opinion, America, like the minute he grew up in Texas, right? So the minute he says the minute that America, he started seeing, he realized this in Obama's second term, and then he started kind of lining it up with what he was seeing, you know, because he was, I think, in already in college in Obama's second term, high school, like finishing high school, entering college, and the stuff that he was seeing in school and society, he already decided that like it's so degenerate. It's so like it's really degenerate. He tells me, he's like, dude, you never spent some time in like for example, a fraternity house, uh, in the university and in any American university, like after the year 2010, let's say, right? Or definitely after the year 2000, but for sure 2010. You know, you didn't spend time in like a high school after the year 2010. Like, dude, you and I, we graduated high school, what, 98, 99, 2000, right? So that was kind of like the borderline of like, so to speak, normalcy from our teachers, you know, the stuff that we saw. Anything really after that, like let's say 2010, I call it, you know, the Napoleon Dynamite era. That's already like degeneracy. Total, like when my sister went to high school, and her high school was relatively, you know, tame and normal, full of like genius kids, but like, dude, I mean, like,
I don't agree with your friend because
I also don't.
whatever's happening in America is parallel.
Yeah, of course.
What's happening in,
Of course.
actually, whatever's happening in Israel is paralleling what's happening.
The only thing that I will say is that in Israel there are its own set of problems in terms of, you know, the minuscule amount of leftists who think that they think they comprise 50% of the country, but in reality they comprise like 5, right? They really, I mean, yeah, Tel Aviv has its problem of, you know, I would say the typical LGBTQ issue, but in terms of all this, you know, gazillions of genders and all this kind of stuff and all this like literal emotional incontinence, it's nowhere near as rampant in Israel as it is in America. It's not even close. Like you just don't see. It's funny. Like anytime I speak to people, my friends in Israel, let's say who got married or who, whatever, just are like in society, like, you know, religious guys, they don't see this. Like they can't even relate to, for example, what the, you know, the red pill guys are talking about in terms of dating and marriage, right? That stuff largely applies to, I would say, America and parts of Europe. You know, how men and women are interacting, marriage, this, that, dating, blah, blah, blah. It's not as bad in Israel in those respects. The stuff has not, because largely Israel, it's not a religious country, right? It's not run by religious people, but it's still a country populated by Jews, right? Jews innately, most, not all, most, have in them innate sense of morality. We have that, right? So I'm talking about society. I'm talking about Israelis, regular Israelis. So again, you're not going to get this like just completely, I would say, malignant. The people that you see arguing against
Greg,
Charlie Kirk, you don't see that in Israel as much.
I want to tell you something. I understand what it's like being a Jew confined to like, you know, the traditional, you know, cities, you know, like Miami, New York, whatever, you know, LA, that kind of thing. America is gigantic.
I know.
Gigantic.
Yeah.
Completely full of people who, like you said, like in Israel, it's full of Jews who are innately, right? America is full of people.
Yeah.
You know, my personal thing is a Hebrew origin, whatever, but forget that for a second.
Yeah.
Who are good.
You're right. He's talking about his generation, the Gen Z generation. He's not talking about the old, like the people that are like our age
I'm not
and
talking
older.
about the older people. I'm talking about the Charlie Kirks. America
this just isn't what he saw. He grew up in the suburb of Austin, Texas.
Dude,
Austin, Texas. It's not what he saw.
Dude, there's a common thing, just so you know,
Yeah.
among converts and Baltimoreans.
I know.
That they have an
animosity towards America. Yeah.
For where they come from.
I know.
Part of it is they're running away from something, and they have they. My brother was like this.
Yeah.
As well.
What he thought all of America was like
No. My brother was like, no. What I'm saying is, you kind of like reject your origins.
Yeah.
You know, like these people are better.
Yeah.
And I'm running away from the crap that I grew up with. And I saw that hypocrisy and all the.
No, I get it. I'm just saying that he.
You understand? Like this is a lot of.
Yeah.
A lot of converts and Balchulas are. They're looking at the world through those colored glasses.
Yeah.
So
I told this guy today because he was basically telling me that, like, you know what he was saying? He said that yeah, the people that you're talking about, he's saying that the country has to be balkanized and that those people have to go live in their own part of the country, wherever that is, the South or wherever it is, right? Just as an example. And yeah, it has to get to a point where he said, if we want to, like, basically there's going to have to be like mass migrations of people, like, the moral people who are in all the coastal things that they have to get up and just go to like the Southeast or the South or the Middle America. And then everybody else is going to have to go to everybody has to go to their corners, so to speak, right?
The great beerer.
Yeah, physically.
I understand.
Yeah.
My computer, we're gonna have to save this for the next conversation.
Yeah.
Because my computer I can already tell.
What's up with your plug?
It's like in the car or something like that. So I have 4%.
Yes.
And it's getting choppy.
Basically, I just want to say one thing. I told the guy that in light of what happened with Charlie Kirk, we're going to have a spiritual reckoning, and we're going to have to. America was founded on biblical principles, and if it remembers them, we're not going to have this balkanization, right?
Guys like Charlie Kirk,
yeah,
like he made like there's a huge movement towards,
of course,
become people like Charlie. So there's a lot of positivity.
I know.
In America. Okay,
I know.
I'm not overly upset that that it's Christianity that is called Christianity, because I know that God Himself is going to come and straighten everybody out.
Yeah.
That being a Christian is not going to prevent you from going to heaven or from having an incorrect perspective about. But along with what Charlie Kirk is bringing is common sense, political conservative, Americanism.
Yeah.
And family. Okay?
Yeah.
And decency.
Yeah.
Okay, that's hugely popular because of him and guys like him.
Yeah.
That's America now. That's why what happened to him happened. That's why. So it's the exact opposite of what your friend is saying. The reason he was killed is because America is getting that much better because of guys like him.
You're right. My whole thing is my main concern, honestly, is the city that is known as the most Jewish city in the world apart from Jerusalem, which is New York, and the fact that it's been able to even produce such a candidate, even if he doesn't win, the fact that it's even a consideration and it's even in some kind of
I don't know, it feels completely manufactured.
Of course it's manufactured, but just because it's manufactured doesn't mean it's not. I'm talking about the people that live in New York who are even considering such a.
I don't know. I don't feel like there's that exists.
It doesn't. I'm telling you.
We're talking about like
every time I go to Manhattan, I see them. I meet them and I see them and I talk to them. It's
okay. We're talking about when I say it doesn't exist, I'm talking about like just the regular most of the people. You have clowns. You have a circus.
No.
I'm not talking about the circus.
It's not the circus, man. I lived in Crown Heights, and right next to Crown Heights is the Brooklyn Museum. All you got to do is pass by there and then go to Prospect Park, walk around there the whole Shabbos. Dude, it's teeming. It's really you really, dude, I know why you don't come to New York for this reason. I don't blame you. If I had to come to New York and see this shit and be with these people and be in Manhattan, I don't know. That's why I don't want to go there. I just had a whole conversation with my parents about, they're like, why don't you go work for one of these companies in Manhattan? I'm like, I don't want to go to Manhattan.
Dude, how, like, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Like, let's say you have like 10 million people, right?
Yeah.
And like 40,000 big, bright, retard-looking clowns, right?
I think it's more than that, but okay. Yeah.
It looks like more than that, but it's not.
There's also a bunch of Muslims also, man. I'm telling you, like,
right. That is the only legitimate.
There's them, and then there's the Muslims. So what I'm saying is, again, no matter who you slice it, no matter who you're talking about, yes, this guy is a manufactured clown with Soros money.
What I'm saying is like this.
It's just
the real danger,
it's
right?
Scary.
Are the Muslims,
yeah,
who are going to vote for him just because,
and also Patterson right over here, who's going to get emboldened by this whole thing.
Right. So
no matter what happens, by the way,
in New York, the Muslims just because, right?
Yeah.
And then the 40,000 bozos that make that because they're so loud and obnoxious, they make it seem like there's millions of them, but it's not.
It's not. Listen, it's not millions of them, but dude, I'm telling you, it's just.
It's not even 100,000. It's not even 100,000.
When you walk through, all you got to do is just walk through like, dude. I met our friend at this Williamsburg thing.
Bro, most people are home. The people on the streets that you're talking about, that you're making.
I don't mean that on the streets. I'm saying when you go on the streets, once in a while they'll leave their house and you'll see them.
Bro, you're talking about, like the whole idea of a paper tiger.
Okay.
You're talking about a paper bozo, a giant bozo, and with a if you combine that with a semi-significant number of Muslims, that could be a problem. But there's not enough Muslims in New York, right? Jews are not going to vote for the Mumser.
I hope not, man. Honestly, man,
because that's what we're talking about, isn't it? Are Jews going to vote for Mamdani? They're not going to vote
in less than 2 months. I really want to be freaking wrong.
Bro, let me tell you something right now. With Jews, there's a danger of Cuomo or Adams, but there's no danger of Jews voting for the Mumser.
Mumsar, man, that's not what we're. I mean, yeah, obviously we shouldn't believe the media, but
I really honestly believe like that. Your view of liberal Jews is way overblown, right? And that you are deeply affected by the bozos who walk
what is
around.
this 17-point lead with Jewish voters? What is that? You're talking about the people that identify as Jews?
That's a fucking lie. Everything about New York politics, all the polls, everything is a lie. There's only one poll, there's only one data point that I've seen that I might even consider like taking seriously. The donations that the candidates received. Yeah. And Sliwa is the only one who received donations from New Yorkers.
Yeah.
That's the only data point that isn't a lie. You can't lie that.
Yeah.
Everything else is a fucking lie. It's all manufactured.
Yeah.
It's a Democrat-controlled shit box.
Yeah.
Okay? And the information that we're fed is nonsense. It should be discarded by default. This point lead and that point lead. Shut the fuck up. Not you, but also you a little bit. And everybody else who believes those data points, okay?
Dude, I really...
But I can't wait to get teeth. People will take me more seriously. Seriously, I'm looking at you. You have nice teeth, right? It's like, nobody listen to you. You look at me. I don't even have teeth.
Dude, nobody takes me seriously.
Dude, I got to buy some teeth.
And my teeth aren't that nice. Nobody takes me.
I'm trying to buy some teeth. I'm in the market for some teeth.
Nobody takes me seriously.
Yeah, I'm trying to play the violin right now. I take you seriously. I take you very seriously. That's why I talk to you.
Wonderful.
You think I'd talk to you if I didn't take you seriously?
I have no idea.
We've been doing this podcast, these conversations for 3 years. Oh, by the way, Oh shit, I got 2%. So when we get in our studio, bro? When's this happening?
I have to come visit Florida.
Buñuel. All right. Greg has gone bye-bye.
No, I just said Sovietism. He's not gone by my Greg is still here.
I just like that. I like saying that because it's from Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
No, but it's a good thing because when they said it in the movie, it was because the Marshmallow Man showed up.
Yeah.
Like Ray has gone bye-bye.
Yes. Dude, we just have a lot of, see, yeah, whatever. We just sent a post by, there's like these people in our community. Sometimes they want to be like intellectual.
I got 1%.
They want to join the leftist crowd. Morons. Anyway.
All right, Farrakhan.
It's not a Farrakhan. It's sad, man. People who grew up like you and me have stupid views. But anyway,
it's a bozo.
Yeah,
it's a big walk-in.
Yeah. All right.
I had a lot. I was thinking about this week. I had a lot to say, but then this fucker decided to murder
somebody. It's somebody foreign. It was somebody from another country. I think that's what they're saying. Whatever. We'll find out. I guess. I hope.
I got to clean up the campuses. That's goes without saying. So.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone.
Right.
Try to have a positive outlook as much as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the show?
See what happens. We'll come back to you next week.
Tomorrow should be interesting. Yeah, next week we're speaking to Roseanne, and then also we'll
that's
talk.
right.
And then we'll talk. All right.
All right.